Township. They come in at 6-3, and Madera, their coach, Tom Madera, is one of the most successful in South Jersey with a record of 185-87. Sort of a homecoming as Coach Dan Hausman, an offensive coordinator, both coach with him, as did many other coaches on RV. So to say these two coaches know each other well and run some of the same stuff is an understatement. The Falcons run the spread offense and feature 3 quality receivers, but the challenge will be having time to allow Dan Grozowski to get them the ball, as they're not big up front, and they have trouble against the bigger schools with protection. On defense, they have a strong front 7, but again are undersized. They do have most of the defense back, and their experience playing, mixing it up. Right now, we're going to go down to the field with Dean Mikowski and Coach Hausman.
Okay, Tony, you got us? All right. Well, big game tonight, obviously, for RV, and here with RV's head coach now in his 8th season, Dan Hausman. Coach Hausman, tonight, as far as the standings go and wanting to get that division title, what is your thought process going into this game tonight?
Well, we just like any night, we're coming in here to play a football game. We're going to come in here to win a football game. So that's the mindset we're coming in with.
Short week for you guys, obviously, to prepare for this game. How much are you worried about injuries and looking ahead to next weekend, the championship game?
Well, I don't think that, a game is a game. I mean, injuries can happen at any point. I don't think playing tonight versus Thursday or Friday is going to change that. If an injury is going to happen, it's going to happen. The guys that are nicked up, I just have a couple guys that aren't ready to go tonight. That's what, moving back a day might have helped with. But I don't think it affects, if an injury is going to occur tonight, it's going to occur on Friday night. So I don't put any stock into that. So our focus isn't on injuries. Our focus is to come out here and do what we do and play our style football game.
How has your team responded after such an emotional win over Millville?
I think they're fine. I think we're ready to stay focused through these next 2 weeks, and we have to come out here and execute that tonight, prove that tonight. All
right, Coach Hausman, good luck tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Dean. And we are here, Rancocas Valley, already on the far sideline. You can see their white traveling uniforms with their red trim, red numerals, and red helmets. And Burlington Township has not yet made the appearance. And Dave Klimick, interesting game tonight. I mean, coming off that big win against Millville, Rancocas Valley, though, has a lot to play for, because if they do win this game, they win the Capital Division outright. If they don't win, they'll be sharing it with Lenape, and of course, that's a team they're going to be playing a week from Saturday for all the marbles at Rowan University.
Yeah, it lines up interestingly, and it could be these things can be an emotional trap game, because you have a big game coming up, and then that's what you're really getting hyped up for. You're looking past them. No matter what you do, you're looking past this game. So, and you got to play a team that they've already played. They got to be prepared for. So, and this is a game they should probably win, but they have to be very careful that they don't slip by looking past them. So,
and the thing that's really interesting is this is like a old home week, because the coaches on both these teams, they coached together for many years. Coach Hausman started off his first 8 years coaching with Coach Madera, and you talked to Coach Madera, he said, hey, we know them, they're a mirror image, they even use the same terminology as we do, so we know each other so well. It's going to be a matter of which team executes the best in this one.
Yeah, and you want to be really cleaned up and polished at this time of year, going into your state championship game. And I have seen that Coach Hausman's cleaned up a lot of the special teams and stuff, and now it's become a strength for them in some ways. And just what you want to play clean, penalty free, make sure everybody's blocking, you're hitting your blocks right, everybody's hitting their strides and their patterns right, your timing should be all on, and hopefully without any injuries. And you got to hope for, the colder it gets, the more susceptible you are to injury, the more things they just hurt more too when it's cold. And you're playing on grass this week. This is another weird factor. And I don't know where I think the state championship is going to be played at Rowan, so that's going to be on turf. They'll be used to that. This is something that's going to slow them down a little bit, being on grass. This does, and Rancocas has a very speedy team, so this is going to play a little effect. We'll see how much.
You can see the captains at the center of the field with a coin toss. looks like Rancocas Valley has won it. So here is the indication. Rancocas Valley will receive the football and defend the goal to our right, and Burlington Township will kick off and defend the goal to our left. As you said, Dave, coming off that big win last week, it was a huge win. And the interesting thing about it is, you talk about having to play all three phases. Well, you can't ask for a better example than that. The punt return for the touchdown, and then, of course, the 2-point conversion to win it.
Job by the band. And I don't know if you guys could catch that, but the flag, right as they say wave, that flag, it was sagging down and the wind just hit it and let it flop around beautifully. Right? I got chills by watching that. Always get the chills. High school football game, you smell the cut grass and, you know what I mean, the bells ringing, and can't wait.
Even at the higher levels, the pro games and even the college games, but especially the pro games where you see the people holding this huge flag on the sidelines, and then they shake it and it starts waving.
Right at that moment. And it just caught it right there. It was just like a lucky wind. But that was pretty cool.
So Rancocas Valley will receive the football and see how long the starters go. Coach Dan Hausman said, this is just a football game. We're not really looking to not play our starters, but he did indicate, as I talked to him earlier today, that if the game gets to the point where they're comfortably ahead, they could substitute some starters. Obviously, the big game of the entire season coming up a week from Saturday, and you don't want to get players injured, but then again, you never know when that's going to happen.
Right. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. We're talking about football, and I could be polite, or I could be honest. I want to be honest. They're probably what I think they should do too. Put some of the guys that haven't got a lot of touches, the guys that could make a major difference in the state championship game. Mark Sykes, Alan Watson. Give them some touches here. Let them be productive today, because if they haven't had a lot of touches and they go into the game, you don't want them rusty. These guys should be, and they should light these guys up. But if they, you want those guys to get touches because they've been rusty. Kind of keep the ball away from Iverson as much as you can. Let him rest up, and let some of your guys that need some confidence, let them get some long catches and keep them in the game a little bit longer. That's from a coaching standpoint what I would do.
Golak with the kickoff, and Sykes, who we just talked about, with a return, and a good one to the 39-yard line. So Rancocas Valley will open for business at their own 39 with the nose of the football resting on the 40-yard line.
There's a major size difference, too, from team to team. It's glaring from when you see them stay next to each other. And that's not the colors. They are just a much bigger team.
They give off the right side for a pickup of 4. That's Clement with the carry. Yeah, Coach Madera did say, hey, we're not big at all. So that will be a big factor. He indicated when we play the Group 4, Group 3 schools, no problem. But when we play the bigger schools, that size comes into play.
Right. Yeah. I played on a very small team. Our offensive line had nobody over 220 pounds probably. And we ended up winning Group 4, Group 3 back then, against Woodrow Wilson. And I mean, we were really really outweighed.
Here's Mangine tossing deep to the right side. This one's incomplete as the intended receiver falling down got his legs tangled.
That was Jerome Hill.
So that'll bring up a 3rd down and 6. And, of course, talking about Keyshawn Harris last week, those 2 catches he had, his first 2 of the season.
That's
you believe
wild.
it?
Yeah, I know. I saw that message you sent earlier, and I was shocked. I said, and these guys are they have great depth. Rancocas Valley has great depth, and I think that showed at the end of the game. The people that were showing up to win that last game, I mean, besides the punt return, Keyshawn Harris had the 2 catches, the slant for a touchdown. It was a great catch. It was a great pitch and catch. These guys are, I think they should be throwing the ball a little bit right here in the first quarter, too. And get your guys fed that haven't been touching the ball too much.
So Clement with a carry, but falls short of the first down. It'll be 4th down and 4, and Ethan Jackson now to kick it. Back is Johnson to receive it. Justin Johnson. 10:29 left, and they fake it off the right side. This one's going to go for the first down and a heck of a lot more, picking up the first down to the 35-yard line.
My man Kyle Sapp taking one right in the middle. And I stood right next to him like, hey, he looks like a fullback, but they don't really use one in this offense, but he looked like one right there.
Yeah, Sapp is a good-sized young man at 6'1", 220, plays the linebacker position, and right there showed off his ball-carrying abilities.
He looks like a ball. He looks like a big, strong muscle ball, and he does look like a fullback. Rancocas Valley doesn't use that in their offense, but man, if they ever need to, it looks like something they could use. Looks like a weapon they have in their arsenal.
Triple stack formation to the left side, right in motion to the right side. Here's Clement again off the right side, breaking tackles, surging forward, 9-yard advance for Clement.
Once again, tackle play number 12, Omar Rogers.
Rogers with a stop. That'll bring up 2nd. They say an 8-yard gain for Clement. 2nd and 2, and again the triple stack to the left side, as you can see.
It'll probably be some kind of screen pass. There we go.
Right side is complete for the first down and more.
That was interesting because they did trips on the left side, probably to get all the attention to that side of the field, and then they screen pass. They did what you call a bubble screen to the right to Keyshawn Harris. Or was that Jerome Hill? That's Jerome Hill.
I think you were right. Jerome Hill is with the reception. Another first down. Ball now at the 21-yard line. Give off the right side, or is that right? That was Mangine on the carry, pardon me.
Quarterback keeper number 7 is Bryce Mangine.
Picked up a couple.
Pick up 2nd down.
Ball right at the 20-yard line. The toss to the left side, looking to sweep the left side. Ball at the line of scrimmage. Not much there.
That was like a tight trip. That's one of those plays they haven't seen yet this year, and maybe they're going to try a few things different and see how they work in actuality, and then maybe something they can use in a game, and maybe something they want to show to Lenape, and then they do something different. It's all a chess game. You know what I mean? That's why football's so great. It's chess, not checkers. There's always setting something up for a game away, or a distraction of some kind.
There's Mangine off play action. Mangine inside the 15 to the 13-yard line.
Keeper Mangini. Tackle the play number 41,
Mangini. I'll tell him.
So it's going to be 4th down, a little bit more than a yard if they place the ball down between the 12 and the 13-yard line. No score with 7 minutes and 46 seconds left in this opening quarter of play. Fourth at about 1.5 yards. The direct snap off the right side. I don't know if he got there. Doesn't look like he did.
I don't think he got it. Depends on the spot. But he looks a little short. Now here comes the defense.
Looks like it's short of the first down.
And it is short. So Burlington Township holds, and they will get the football.
Burlington Township holds on that last play.
They'll have the football at their own 12-yard line. Rosowski is the quarterback, and they have a bunch of outstanding wide receivers. Isaiah Pay, Justin Johnson, Gadeen Pegram, and Semi Robertson, the running back. They run the spread, the snap. Radowski throwing deep to the right side, and this one is nearly intercepted.
Incomplete. Second down.
Well,
defending was Mangine, defending on Hay.
Mangine playing center field right there. He tried to do a over-the-shoulder catch right there, and that was just hung up there a little bit. They were double covered.
Hay's big at 6'4", 195 pounds. He's a senior. And Iverson Clement appears to have jumped the gun there as he was looking to blitz, but got there too early.
That was probably his first penalty the whole year. I don't think I've seen him penalized yet this year. And he touches the ball a lot, and he's a big factor. And I've yet to see him make any selfish penalties, which is great about him. He doesn't do, there was no, just selfish penalties, and he's an unselfish player.
The drive off left guard by Robertson picked up 2, maybe 3, and that's going to bring up a third down. Third and short for the Falcons. Come in at 6 and 3.
Yeah, what's so great about Iverson is the way he blocks for his teammates and stuff like that. That's just an unselfish player, and University of Florida is going to love that in him.
Again, Robertson pounds off the left side to see where they mark it. And it is a first down as they move the sticks. So the ball at the 25-yard line. Rosowski throwing deep to the left side, and again, overthrowing his intended receiver. That was Johnson. And
they kind of had that. They were the one deep safety right there, and they were going to the corner. And I don't know if they saw that up here, but they did have 2 corner routes going and 1 safety. So you pick one. They actually picked the wrong one, but both the corner routes were open.
So they do have 3 very good receivers, as we mentioned, and even John Norris is 6'2", so they do have size at the receiver position. But off the incompletion, second down and 10 from the 25-yard line, and now a whistle.
There's a special thing with running a corner route, too. There's marks on the field where you have to hit, where as a receiver you're supposed to go to the high pylon if you're going to the corner. And then the quarterback can lead you to that spot. You're going from wherever you are, anywhere on the field, doesn't matter where you are, you always end up in that corner. And he went shy of that. You get the tendency to, quickly want to get to the sideline, but if you stay flat, they'll be able to throw you to the sideline.
So the quick pitch over the middle was incomplete. That was intended for Rogers, and now third down and 10. Interesting thing Coach Madera said is we're a big play team, but the strategy has to be control the clock against this team. This one pitched over the middle, again incomplete, intended for Pay, but incomplete. Defending on the play was Keon Taylor for Rancocas Valley. Yep. So 3 passes and 3 incompletions, and just that quickly, Rancocas Valley is going to get the football back, and we've seen this before.
When you throw the ball that much, you always have the risk of going 3 and out and giving the ball right back to these guys. But they were open on some of these passes. They just have to execute to move the ball.
Golak will kick it from his own 10-yard line, actually inside the 10 at the 9. Here's the kick. High.
Here's a mistake.
Clement may have been touched by an RV player. He initially hustles back to get it, but then decides better of it. But still a long kick because of the roll, and Rancocas Valley will have a long field, and that's one thing Coach Madera said. He says, we want to make him go the long field. And on offense, we're a big play offense, but our strategy in this game has to be to eat up clock, not use those big plays, because then we're giving the ball right back to them real quick.
Yeah.
So he said it's kind of a contradiction. It's not their personality to play offense the way he thought they had to, and you can see right now they're going to the air.
Yeah, defense gets tired that way, but if they can strike quick, which they can, they just have to execute some of those passes, and they've been open.
Mangine, the give across the 20 to the 22. That was Clement.
Yeah, I don't know if it's cold or whatever, but I don't see this team hopping up and down and excited like you usually see the Rancocas Valley team at home. So this is what I fear about what they call these emotional trap games. If you play flat, you can get yourself in a fight, and this could be this could get interesting.
Double stack formation. Mangine keeps it himself. Mangine breaks a tackle. Mangine spins across the 30 to the 34-yard line, and he has a first down. We've been seeing this more and more the last few weeks. Mangine getting involved in the running game.
Yeah, and he's an effective runner. And that poses a lot of problems. It makes you have to keep a linebacker more honest and keep them out of coverage. You got to kind of put somebody on him shallow so he doesn't just run on you.
Slot formation to the right side. Mangine looking to throw. Sets. He might have been hit as he released, and he was as the ball fluttered, as you saw, and fell incomplete.
And what's really interesting today is I haven't seen Alan Watson out there yet today. They have Keyshawn Harris playing where he would normally play up on that right side of the ball. Well, they move him around, but he would usually play up on the up on the right side of the ball, and I've not seen him yet today.
Yeah, we see Bright. We also see Harris, and we also see Jerome Hill in the ball game.
They want maybe want to keep these guys. They might be a little bit banged up. Condress isn't out there, so maybe they're trying to keep them fresh.
The give up the middle. Clement powering to the 45, and he's got a first down. So they've been able to move the football, Dave. They just have not been able to put any points on the board as of yet. We have 4 minutes and 56 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Mangine, again, this time going to take it himself, runs into his own blocker, looks to hurdle him, but no chance there, and he's going to lose some yardage.
Yeah, I'd like to see them put the ball in the air, but they do have to put some points on the board. That's going to be important. Again, if you're going to play conservative, you got to score points either way. Because, I remember playing in a high school game against Egg Harbor Township, and we were not excited. Our next game was a state championship. We played flat. We ended up losing the game to a team that really had no business being in the game with us. And it was a big wake-up call. We went to the state championship and won. Big wake-up call.
Going to be a legal procedure call against Rancocas Valley. Harris, the left tackle, moved early. So now second down. Second down, and we'll call it 17. Ball moved back inside the 40-yard line.
And that's a quads on the right side.
Harris looking to sweep the right side on the jet sweep, but he just does barely, if he did, get back to the line of scrimmage. So we have to say one thing, Dave, that so far Burlington Township's defense has been playing well.
Yeah, they have.
So now third and we'll call it 16.
Now I'm looking up the sideline. I see Alan Watson and Danny Condress both in their sweats today. So they probably are a little nicked up.
Timeout called by Rancocas Valley with 3:51 left in the opening quarter. No score. Highway Tire and Auto Service stocks a wide selection of tires for your vehicle. Their passenger tire inventory includes favorite brands like Goodyear, Kelly and Dunlop. You'll get the best replacement tire for your car, light truck, or SUV right now. But there's more. Highway Tire and Auto Service, family owned and operated for over 50 years. Also offers specials on oil changes, alignment, and brake service. Highway Tire and Auto Service, 1661 Route 38 in Mount Holly. Phone them 609-267-5300 or visit them online at highwaytires.com. No score. Burlington Township and Rancocas Valley. Early start here this evening at 5 o'clock kickoff. A lot going on this weekend. Of course, they want to get the game in early on Thanksgiving Eve, and we wish everyone a very, very happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Third down, 16. Mangine back to pass. Throws to the left side.
Send it in to Justin. Then after Trey, special. Then I might want to watch it. Get the ball in the air.
Connection results in a significant gain. Ball spotted down at the 10-yard line. That should make up the 12-yard line. First and 10, Falcons. Last play was number 42, Nicholas Skipsey. No gain. To number 21, Robinson. For the goal line, but that result in a first and goal, Falcons. Touchdown, Falcons. Daniel Brzezowski punches it in the end zone. Falcons strike first. with 6 on the board. With 1:47 left in the first quarter. Burlington Township foul. And the Red Devils 0 lead.
Hey, what's your upshot? What's your upshot? What'd you say?
Run that gift, what's his name? Justin. Make sure the nose when you get tell Justin, make sure he's going over soft. Soft on the ball. Because if they're squeezing, because with Miami, as long as they're squeezing, we should be good. Tell what's the nice job on the cross. Sonia, was old. Get a chance. Give the headset to Coach Come on, Victor!
Big hit by number 12, Omar Rogers. Back on the first team. On that play, number 14, Daniel Myers.
He says, you wanted to.
Midfield, first and 10 in the Big tackle number 32, Victor Onjala. First and 10, Red Devils.
All right, there we go. Not bad.
Let's go.
Diamond, no backs. Line up, we got Diamond. Oh, Jesus, Trey.
Trey.
How was it there? Wow. Yo, it was Trey. Yeah. I think. Tell Danny I didn't think he was going to be there. Yep. He's got doubles now. He missed the touchdown. Yeah.
Tackle the last play, number 40, Xavier Morgan. And that's it for the first quarter. At the end of one, Burlington Township knocking 6. Brooklyn Valley 4.
It's third and 10. They didn't walk it off yet? 52 people. They got to walk off the 10. Third and 10. You were saying. Hold it, come on, skip. Alright, good. Okay, that's interesting about just reset it.
Good. 21 yards.
Okay.
I thought, I mean, there's a place that can be dealt with. I did what it said to do. It still said that.
Touchdown, Red Devils. 21-yard connection, number 4, Mark Seitz. Results in a Red Devil touchdown. Is up and it is good. Extra point is good by number 80, Colin Bachman. Like there's multiple flags in the field. Here's the That one last play, number 4, Sykes. First and 10, Falcons. Ball spotted at the 21-yard. Back in the last play, number 23, Keon. Play 21, Robert Crew. Top on the last play, number 7, G. Third down. Against the red.
What's the money?
Looks like the ball will be spotted at the 15-yard line, first and 10.
Go block. Wow.
Carrying play number 12, Rogers. Tackle on the last play, number 44, Joel Anaya. Short on that first down, third down.
He's just a ball of muscle, man. And when he stuffs the hole, man, nobody's pushing him around. His center of gravity, the way he looks when when he hits somebody, he always wins the push battle every single time.
Rogers again on that last carry. Third down, had a long 3 off the left side. Not going to get there. That was Robertson on the carry, but he's going to be a couple of yards short. Gorlak to kick it.
And Clement's creeping up. I think he wants to return this one. I don't know where they're going to send it, except for out of bounds.
Line drive. Just inside the midfield line at the 47-yard line. So again, good field position for the Red Devils with 8 minutes and 6 seconds left until halftime.
Usually you would think you want to hang the ball up and kick it short and let your guys get underneath it. And that time it just bounced around, which is dangerous because Iverson picks him up off of the the roll, takes him wherever he wants. You want to kick the ball high, let your defense get underneath it, or let your gunners get underneath it and just kind of hold you there.
So here comes the offense of Rancocas Valley. They lead it 7-6, looking for more. Able to shut down Burlington Township after the fumble by Clement, and offsides the call against Burlington Township.
Our officials are all bundled up tonight.
Yeah, I saw those guys before the game. I was wondering where I could park, and they said, we don't know. We just do the games. We're just the officials. So I got it all straightened out. Quick pitch to the left side. This one is complete. Across the 40-yard line, inside the 40 to the 37-yard line for the first down.
Keyshawn Harris is going to I think he's going to be a big factor in the state championship game as well. He's one of those guys that he's an unsung hero a little bit, even though he's such a great player. Just playing behind Iverson Clement makes it a tough year for him.
Sweeping the right side is Clement, breaks tackles. He goes for the right pylon, and he's going to be stopped just short at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, now he's just starting to pick up some steam now. And just wear away at the Burlington defense. Burlington's got almost identical uniforms to Wake Forest. And my best friend played for Wake Forest, John Stone, and I used to love his Demon Deacons uniforms.
Old John must be a smart kid, too, because that's a heck of a school.
Call it the Stanford of the South. Yeah, he's smarter than me.
All right, so here we go. First and goal from the 1. Here's Clement hurdling the line, and he gets in for the touchdown.
Using those long jump skills. 23-foot long jumper as a junior, and he's going to go to University of Florida. I'll bet you could make it on that track team as well. He just broad jumped right over them on that play.
13-6 right now. And Proskavich looking for the extra point. Mangine to hold it. The snap in the boot.
Oh, man, he's going to get another penalty.
And it is good.
Nope. They didn't call it. He did have contact, but they didn't call it this time.
So now, 14-6, Rancocas Valley with 7:38 left until halftime. Well, there's something for everybody, that is, at Dempster Sports Pub in Mount Holly. Early bird specials, Mexican Monday, Saturday breakfast, Thirsty Thursday, a great menu featuring their scrumptious burgers, nightly entertainment, and a wide variety of beverages. But Dempster Sports Pub was designed for the sports fan. You can watch all the NFL and college football games, plus baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, you name it. And they have their own teams for shuffleboard, darts, and horseshoes, too. Dempster Sports Pub, 437 Pine Street, just off Route 38 in Mount Holly, where friends become family. So it looks like Rancocas Valley has awoken.
A little bit. Yeah, they usually can pour it on them a little bit in the second half, but it's taking them a little time to wake up. Could be the muddy field, could be the emotional trap game, as we said. A lot of factors involved, but you really want to finish strong going into the next game and sharp. And you want to get some touches from some of the guys that you think are going to be a factor in that state championship game.
Pegram's back there along with Johnson, but a short kick and recovered at the 35-yard line, and that's where they will set up shop. Burlington Township taking the 6-0 lead, but now have been outscored 14-0.
They got a player down now.
They're going to be attending to him as both teams retreat to the sidelines. 7:33 left till halftime. 14-6, Rancocas Valley. Bill Gordon Mount Holly Pro Day is proud to support Rancocas Valley football. Bill Gordon Mount Holly Pro Day is an annual not-for-profit event established in 1998 as a way to financially support area youth programs, everything from Pop Warner football to the Mount Holly Library. The 21st annual Bill Gordon Mount Holly Pro Day is coming up in May. Check out the details online at onlc.com/Pro Day. So still attending to that injured player. For over 45 years, the Limo Group has provided quality engineering services to public clients throughout New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. Many of these clients have used the Limo Group services for years, and the firm has received many engineering and planning awards for municipal and state projects. Limo Group services are tailored to a client's specific needs. These range from water wells to footbridges and nature paths to new structures and facilities. The Alamo Group can engineer your ideas and help you create just what you need. Phone the Alamo Group at 609-267-8310 or visit them at 200 High Street in Mount Holly. So still attending to that injured player. We cannot see him. He is now up on his feet.
It's number 10, Fabian Leon. And he just, in a show of class, and I know the hit happened right on the sideline there, and Rancocas Valley took a knee right away. It must have looked pretty serious. But classy team, classy coaches, and that's what you do. Classy players.
Being walked off the field, but under his own power, which is always a good sight. Burlington Township with the football down 14-6. They'll have it at their own 35-yard line. Johnson in motion to the right side. He gets the call on that jet sweep, but that time Rancocas Valley all over it.
See, sometimes, you know, if you're an offensive coordinator, you know, if you see something you like what I see, you know, I see something I like right there, and you go to a no huddle like this, which they're doing right now. They didn't huddle, and they go right to something they like because you have to keep the defense. They'll stay in the same defense. They're not going to change, so you kind of, there you go.
Quick pitch over the middle, complete.
Great catch.
That was completed to Kadeem Pegram, and he took a big-time stick, but held on to the football. So we've seen a couple of those big plays kind of right down the center of the field there, Dave.
And Keyshawn Harris could have got called with one of those targeting penalties, but it looked like it was incidental. He actually did lay off the hit. You could tell he could have hit him a lot harder than that, and he laid off of him because he was a defenseless receiver.
Trips to the right side. Godowski with a call to himself, and inside the 40 to the 39-yard line, picked up some 5 yards on first down.
So what I was saying with that is if you see that you want them to stay, you want the defense to stay in their defense, you then do not huddle again. Don't let them change personnel. You dictate to them what the defense is going to be and then play something to beat that coverage, which is exactly what they just did.
Trips to the right side now. Grozowski, he is having some trouble finding a lane and gets back to the line of scrimmage. May have picked up a yard. Good coverage there by the secondary of Rancocas Valley. Had nowhere to throw and decided to pull it down and take it himself.
And my man Swoop making some plays. He's always effective out there. He's like very long. He's more like a basketball player, but he's got that long range, which is great for those defensive ends and defensive line. Put their hands up, knock the balls down. They cover a lot of ground, even though they're not, you know, even if he's not that big, or he can cover ground with those arms.
Johnson peels to the right side. Grozowski looking to throw. He's under pressure and he's going to be dumped. Back at the 45-yard line, had no shot at all. The pressure was there.
And there's his twin, Jesse Edrick. Those two guys look very similar in their uniforms, just really long. And he was in on that play. Those two guys have been fantastic this season.
And after giving up that big pass play, the defense stiffens and makes the big play. The sack.
Let's see if they kick it out of bounds here.
Golak, good snap. Kicking it away from Clement to the right sideline.
Great punt.
Going to be down right around the 15-yard line. Actually mark it at the 16-yard line. So
that was like a 50-50, depending on which side that Iverson Clement took. He kicked away from him. Pretty smart, and kept it in bounds, too.
So the Red Devils will have the football thrown 16-yard line, leading it now 14-6. Burlington Township went up early, 6-0, but since then it's been all Rancocas Valley. Come out in slot formation to the right side. Clement with the carry. Marker is down. Picks up a couple, but from where that was thrown, the likelihood is it's going to be a hold.
You know what we don't do enough is talk about the Rancocas Valley offensive line. You can see Kyle Sapp goes right from defense, which he's known for, to go back and play in tackle or guard. And these guys hustle. They got to hustle because these guys make such big plays. And sometimes these offensive linemen are in the end zone when any of their players are scoring. Bryce Mangine took a long run. He's getting chased right down, and they're right there with him. And my hat's off to the offensive line. They don't get a lot of credit because there's so many great skill players, but man, they fight all day long. They've done a great job. I've had a blast calling them, and I really haven't given them enough credit this season.
Oh, you just did.
Next week, I wish I was there next week too.
There's Mangine tossing to the left side. That is complete, but just about back to the line of scrimmage. Harris with the reception. No gain really. Going to be second down now at 15.
Plus Dean's here right over my shoulder. I know I got to come up with some good stuff. Something he doesn't yell at me about.
Second down and 15 from the 9-yard line. Rancocas Valley with 4 minutes and 12 seconds left in this second quarter of play. 14-6, they lead it. Trips to the right side. Mangine again going to throw it. Here's the screen over the middle. Complete. Across the 15-yard line, well, just short of the 15-yard line, is that was played well defensively.
And they had Curtis Bright wide open on the slant seam right there. If the next time they come back to see that type of defense, or they set up in that type of offense, he had that seam wide open. There was nobody there, and I almost saw Mangine look at him, but the play wasn't designed there. Man, it was wide open. Yeah, here they go. They brought their nickel over, or their rover over to help out with that now, because they just saw that up here.
Third down and 11. Mangine going to toss it. Under pressure, able to escape. Throws on the run, and this one is incomplete. Tough throw on the run. He was under heavy heat and just had to get rid of it as Jerome Hill, the intended receiver, but over his head.
You'd think that'd be a real strength for Mangine, who can run and throw, and has a great touch on the ball too. So I mean, when he gets out of the pocket, he's very dangerous, because then he has a two-way option. And they've had some design, swing him out in pass plays. Not enough, in my opinion, because he poses a big-time threat.
Here's the kick by Jackson. Johnson's going to take it at the 49-yard line, his own 49. Looking to cut back to his right, but not going to find any room there as he's able to struggle forward to the 46-yard line.
Number 20, Johnson.
So Burlington Township will have another shot with 2:57 remaining in this first half of play. They're down 14-6. At the 46 of Rancocas Valley. Gradzowski throws quickly to the right side, and having to go down to get it, if he did get it.
Yeah, that's a dangerous throw right there, because you're throwing real far away from you, and he didn't zip it too hard in there. So sometimes those are the pick sixes that you see if somebody undercuts that. That was a long throw.
Pegram, the intended receiver, I don't know if he caught it or not, but the result is the same, no gain, 2nd and 10. Gradzowski again being rushed, able to escape. Now he's being chased from behind, and he is going to be hit after a pickup of 2 or 3, but give him credit there. That could have been a big loss. He turned it into a 2-3 yard gain.
Look a little bit like Russell Wilson out there. And that field's very muddy. I can see on that last punt return right there how long it took Johnson to stop, because he just tried to put his foot in the ground. You could just see it was just mush. It's a slow turf out there tonight.
3rd and 7. Gradzowski, the screen to the left side, and this one is diagnosed well, but getting close still to the first down, even though it was diagnosed so well.
Yeah, Nassim Kendrick was all over that. He was just a little bit late. He saw that coming, and I thought he was an inch away from making a real good play on that.
So 4th down and 3. They're going to punt the football. Surprising a little bit, Dave, here in this situation. The ball is inside the 40 at the 39, but I guess they don't want to give Rancocas Valley any field position with just 1 minute and 15 seconds left in this first half of play, and they're just going to wait for that clock to wind down to as far as they can get it. Here comes the official to start the clock, and now the kick. Gorlak.
Well, they know, they think they're in this game, and they are in this game. So they don't want to make any bad decisions, because this is a game of inches, and in a game of inches, one punt they could say, man, if we just had that field position back. They're playing good defense right now. They're doing a good job. So they're going to play this like they're not going to take any big chances right now. They're in this game,
and they get the second half kickoff as well. They will be receiving. Rancocas Valley with the football, under a minute, 56.2 seconds remaining. They lead at 14-6. Of course, that extra point, that missed extra point, could play big in the outcome of this one.
Yeah, and it was tough to tell because the ball went so high and far. It was hard to tell from here whether it was good or not.
And Gene's going to throw it. Quick pitch to the right side. That's incomplete, intended for Hild, but he looked to run before he had it.
He knows he wants that back. He had stopped quick enough. He had a little bit of room to get some extra yardage, but again, that's what we say, putting the carriage in front of the horse. You got to catch the ball first, secure it, and then move on.
Second and 10 from the 16. See how Coach Hausman wants to play it here. Leading at 14-6. Put it up on first down. They'll put it up on second down as well. Complete to the left side. Has room. Accelerating for the first down and more outside the 35 to the 39-yard line. So let's see where they're going to mark the football.
This is one of the guys I want to see get the ball tonight was Keyshawn Harris, and let him do some work. Get some confidence going to this, state championship game, and it's going to mean a lot to him.
Yeah, he could make a big difference, Dave, because remember, he was primarily a running back, running the football. In the last couple of weeks, we've seen his hands and the ability for him to do something with the football after he catches it.
Yeah, and they use him primarily as a defensive player because they use Iverson on offense. But he can do it both ways, and he would be a superstar on this team had it not been for Iverson being Superman.
Give to Clement off the right side, and they're not going to stop the clock here. Approaching 25 seconds remain. Now Clement's going to throw the football. Check that. Mangine's going to throw the football, and this one nearly intercepted.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he was looking. I think he slipped a little bit off his back foot because that was not where Keyshawn Harris was. It was way inside of him, and that was just a 9-go route, and he should have thrown it up a little higher, or he was going to dig that, and Keyshawn ran the wrong route.
Gordon nearly picked that one off, so that brings up 3rd and 3 for the Red Devils at the 43, their own 43. Quick pitch to the left side, and again incomplete this time. Harris just couldn't get under the football. Now 4th down, they're going to punt the football.
One of those things about catching the football, too, is, you have to use your legs to catch the ball. You have to step in front of the ball instead of let it get outside your body. Square up with it. That's where you can catch it from, and you can see some of the guys are, if the ball's away from you, you still have to use your legs, step in front of it, and then get upfield. That was a catchable ball. It was low, still catchable. If it touches your hands, you should catch it.
So Jackson will kick it from his 28-yard line. Good kick. Johnson under it at the 23. Cross the 25 to the 30-yard line and run out of bounds.
This is one of those games that the receivers in Kansas City we used to play. If the ball touched your hands at any point, you would owe, and you didn't catch it, but it touched your hands, you owe $100 to the pot. If you touched 2 hands, you owed $500 if you let it go. If it touched 1, it was $100. 2, $500. And at the end of the day, we were watching video, and we'd be tallying it up, and it would just be a pot full of money at the end of the day. At the end of the year, we took it out and had a big, party with all the receivers. But these are the things that it reminds me of. Oh God, that would have cost me $500.
Is this practice or just game?
This is practice. In the games, they're all much higher penalties than that. And knowing that all the penalty money either goes to a charity or you guys going out.
So there's a timeout on the field with 64 seconds. Check that. 6.4 seconds left in this first half of play. So I wanted to tell you about Fryance. When you're planning improvements to your home, there are many reasons to choose Fryance. Windows, doors, awnings, carpeting, you name it. At Fryance, you'll get outstanding personal service with free estimates, competitive prices, quality products, and professional installation that are open Tuesday through Friday until 5 and Saturdays until 4. Fryance, serving the region since 1896, is at 21 High Street in Mount Holly. Phone 800-236-4367. And we've neglected to mention that Bryce Mangine only needed 29 yards to go over 1,000 in this first half, and he's done that.
Congratulations on him. He's only a junior. He's only a junior. Baseball player.
Rodzowski throwing over the middle. This one nearly intercepted.
Oh man, Joel Anaya's going to want that back. He had it in stride. It looked like he ran the slant route.
And that'll be the last play of this first half. So Rancocas Valley, after falling behind 6-0, have rallied and scored 14 straight. They lead the Falcons of Burlington Township 14-6. Well, if you're looking for a taste of New York and South Jersey, look no further than Levitas Pizzeria in Mount Holly. They've got what you want. Open Monday through Thursday until 10:30, Friday and Saturday until 11:30, Sundays till 10. Levitas also delivers, so you can phone them at 856-267-8957. Try their all-day specials like 2 large pizzas for $20.99 or a large pizza with a dozen wings for just $17.99. They have hot and cold sandwiches, baked pasta, stromboli soup, salads, and so much more. Levitas Pizza, serving the RV community for over 30 years. Right now, we're going to take a brief 1-minute break, and then we'll be back here from Burlington Township with more right after this.
So a lot of these friends are I'm thinking against the spread here. Hey, yo, you guys warm it up. I thought that was yeah, I like these sneakers too. I like it with this green too. You just don't know. He's a class people, right? Intro. How you guys? Okay. You the classic, man. Come on down.
All right, back here at Burlington Township, where Rancocas Valley leads the Falcons by the count of 14-6, and we have a special guest here at halftime. Pretty much everybody who follows sports in the Delaware Valley knows this guy, Mark Narducci of the Philadelphia Inquirer. And Mark, glad to have you here, and quite a football season thus far.
It really is.
You know, a lot of rematches coming up in the sectional finals and everything. Tremendous talent. I was telling my colleague Phil Anastasia, I don't envy him having to pick the All-South Jersey team this year, especially a running back where there's so many great ones in South Jersey.
So talk about this game. I mean, this is a game that's the night before Thanksgiving, and Rancocas Valley seemed to come out a little flat. Of course, if they win this, they've got the championship of Capital Division. If they don't, they're going to be tied with Lenape. And this game, do you think it's maybe a trap game, because they do play the championship game a week from Saturday against Lenape? So how do you think they're approaching this one?
I don't think it's a trap game, Tony, simply because of what you said about the division title. They don't want to share
start with Lenape. They don't want to share anything with Lenape, and obviously they're going to be playing them in the sectional final. So I think with what's at stake, no, this isn't a trap game at all.
Dean? Thanks, Tony. Mark, just your thoughts on this RV team and how you see them in the state final against Lenape, a team that they've already beaten one time, 10-7. From there, we've seen Lenape play some great football. RV's obviously played well enough to get there with the upset of Millville a little bit last week. How do you see that Group 5 final turning out?
I'll tell you, Dean, I think it's going to be whichever of the premier backs has the better game, Clement or JoJo Kellum, who's been running as well as anybody in South Jersey for Lenape. I think whichever, because I think both teams are going to have to do it on the ground, and I think whichever of those two star backs has a better game, that might be the difference. It should be as close as a regular season meeting between the two.
When we look at this game tonight on Thanksgiving Eve, it's always a big topic this time of year. The teams that are in the championships having to play this game, and we debate this all the time. Should South Jersey do away with Thanksgiving football and just focus on the playoffs? What is your opinion on that, and what do you think is the best?
I think they should keep saying Thanksgiving. A lot of these schools, it's the biggest gate for them. They don't make any money on the state tournament games. The NJSIAA gets the gate receipts. So a lot of it's the gate. It's a tradition. And I know a lot of places. I know in Pennsylvania, a lot of the PIAA schools have stopped doing it. I think it's great. I think it keeps South Jersey unique. And I think it also gives the teams more than enough time for that championship game. So I'm very much in favor of keeping Thanksgiving.
When you look at the other playoff games coming up next week, is there one game that you have your eye on more than the RV Lenape game, so to speak, a game that really sticks out that you think will be a great one for South Jersey fans to see?
Yeah, I think the rematch in Group 2 between Haddonfield and West Deptford, Dean, with West Deptford winning the overtime game. These two have forged one of the greatest rivalries in South Jersey. West Deptford, as I mentioned, wins in overtime during the regular season. Haddonfield was really playing poorly, lost 37-19 in Week 8 to Sterling, came back and beat Sterling the next week, beat Cinnaminson decisively the following week. So I think Haddonfield, which was banged up, is getting some people back. I think it's just going to be a great game. I think it's one of the most intense rivalries we have in South Jersey.
What do you think of that Shawnee-Lenape game tomorrow on Thanksgiving? Both teams obviously going ahead to play in a state final. How do you approach that game if you're those two coaches, or what are those two coaches thinking right now?
Well, I covered Shawnee last week beating Morristown, and I know Tim Gushu and also Tim McInerney of Lenape do not like it, don't like the situation, but I think they're both going to try to at least initially go for the win. If it gets out of hand, you might take some starters out, but I think they're both going to go for it and just hope, Dean, that they have no injuries.
Yeah, I saw Phil write about how he thought there were too many groups, that the playoff teams are kind of watered down there. You look at Group 3, or Group 4, I should say, with Morristown and Burlington Township were the top two seeds there, and they both lose to Hamilton, who has a losing record, Highland, which was a lower seed. Just your thoughts on, are there too many groups in the sectional finals?
Well, usually, Dean, one of the groups does suffer in that. A lot of years it's Group 3. This year it's Group 4. But still, I like the extra championship. I have no problem with it. I wondered how South Jersey Group 5 would be when this first started. That's been as strong as ever. And you're going to have years where you're not going to have good teams in a group. Group 4 isn't strong from top to bottom, but I still like it. I'll have to disagree with my good friend Phil, and I do like having the extra champion. It's another game, and you get to see more football.
One thing that a lot of RV fans are looking forward to next year is all this talk already that the new divisions are aligned for next season with the West Jersey Football League, revamping the league after that 2-year window, and talk of RV back in a division with the likes of Shawnee, Lenape, Cherokee, teams that the fans from Mount Holly those have been sort of their rivals going back to the 70s, 80s, those Burlington County teams. Do you like that lineup of those teams revamping that division?
Sure. That goes back to your days, right, at RV when they played in the Broco Liberty, right? And that was one of the best divisions around. I like it. What else I like is I like Lenape being back in as well with Shawnee, Cherokee, and those teams. And I like Rancocas Valley. It gives it more of a South Jersey feel, flavor. The problem is, and it's just like the old Olympic American and the West Jersey Football League American, the teams are going to beat each other up. You may not have a lot of years, Dean, where you have undefeated champions, because it's going to be just so competitive.
Yeah, you look at that and you're going to think, you're going to have a lot of 500 teams that maybe make the playoffs coming out of that division.
There's no question about it, and we're not even talking about some of the other powers that have fallen a little bit, like the Washington Townships in the world, Kingsway, which was in the West Jersey American this year, fallen a little bit, and they've realized it's just tough to keep up with these teams week in and week out, and that's why when people say, well, why don't you have a Group 1 team ranked number 1, they don't have to go through week in and week out getting beaten up like the teams in these Group 5 conferences do.
Overall, your thoughts on the West Jersey Football League and what it's done for South Jersey football?
I think it's been great. I think that it's been tremendous for South Jersey football. I'll give you an example. A team like Haddon Township, right? They were in the Colonial Conference, and they still played a lot of those old Colonial schools, but they also get to play a Maple Shade, a Wildwood. They get to have more competitive teams, so I like it. You're going to have some teams complain. I know Florence has complained that it has had to play up too much over the years, but I really like it. I think that it has matched up teams that are more on equal strength. Now you're going to have like a Cherry Hill East this year, which was in the National Division. They moved them down from the American, and they still struggled. That's going to happen sometimes, but I think it's been great for South Jersey, and I think there've been a lot more equal type games.
All right. Well, while we have you here, we're gonna have a little fun. We got Thanksgiving tomorrow, obviously one of the biggest days in South Jersey football. And we're just doing a little rapid fire with you, pigskin picks on a list of the games that we have laid out for you. So I'm going to throw a game at you. You just give us your quick pick for tomorrow, okay? We'll start with Burlington City and Palmyra.
Well, Taj Harris, who I wrote a story about him today, can become the first player in South Jersey history to have a 1,000-yard rushing, receiving, and passing season. He's 85 yards short rushing of that total. But still, Burlington City, despite that loss to Middlesex, I still like the Blue Devils to finish up with 9 wins.
How about Cinnaminson and Delran?
Cinnaminson. I think Cinnaminson's going to rebound from that loss to Haddonfield and finish on a strong note.
Shawnee Lenape.
Wow, that's a tough one. I think Lenape would probably be the favorite. It's at Lenape. I'll go with Lenape by 3.
Cherokee Seneca.
I like Cherokee. Cherokee's dominated that series, and P.J. Megan, I think, is one of the best coaches in South Jersey year in and year out.
Haddonfield and Haddon Heights.
Haddonfield big. I think what Haddonfield wants to do, Dean, is get up big early and then rest the regulars. I think that's what's going to happen. Haddon Heights has not played as well. They have a very good quarterback in Matt DiOrio, but they have not played quite as well as we thought they would this year.
How about Kingsway and Clearview?
Wow, that's a great one because Clearview, which was a playoff team a year ago, struggled this year. Kingsway struggled as well, but I'm going to go with the Dragons and Kingsway in that one.
Highland and Triton.
I like Highland. Remember, Highland beat Burlington Township 41-0. That, to me, was maybe the most shocking score of the postseason. I like the Tartans.
Here's a game that I kind of like, Woodbury and Gateway.
Wow, that's a good game. Both teams coming off playoff losses. Gateway in the second round, Woodbury in the first round. Woodbury's won 10 in a row in that series, Dean. I still like the Thundering Herd to make it 11.
Gateway, just a great season for them. A school that's has struggled over the years, but what a season for that school.
No question about it. I thought they'd be a little more competitive in the semifinal. Give Pensgrove a lot of credit. I saw Pensgrove a couple of weeks ago. That's as good an offensive team as you'll see in South Jersey.
All right, we're here with Mark Narducci playing a little pigskin picks at halftime. RV Burlington Township. RV leading right now 14-6. Let's continue on. Give Mark a couple more to pick before we wrap things up here. Let's go Salem and Woodstown.
Well, you know, if Salem wins a game, they win the Diamond Division Championship. So I'll go with the Rams in that one.
Here's one: Gloucester Catholic and Gloucester.
That's an interesting game. You know, Gloucester Catholic had those 2 0-10 seasons. Has now had 2 winning seasons back to back. I'm going to go with the Rams in that one.
I almost forgot these. These are like the main course for Thanksgiving, I think. Millville and Vineland.
Yeah, it's the 146th meeting of these two. Both smarting from playoff losses. Vineland lost 35-0 to Lenape, and Millville, as you alluded to, lost that game to RV. I like Millville in this one.
How surprising was the Vineland team? I think a lot of people thought that they would go into to Lenape and give them a game and possibly upset Lenape in that game.
There's no question, Dean. I don't know about upset them, but I thought they'd be more competitive. You look at Vineland, before they got to the playoffs, they won their first 7 games of the year, and they hadn't beaten a team with a winning record. And then they lost to St. Augustine, and then they lost to Lenape. So they want to show that they're a good team, and they're going to get a chance against Millville.
How about the most talked about school the last couple of years, especially this year, Timber Creek facing Winslow. You're talking about two of the top passing quarterbacks in South Jersey. Obviously, everyone knows Devin Leary, but the Winslow quarterback also is one of the state leaders in passing, Bryce Drew Bay. So your thoughts on the Timber Creek Winslow game tomorrow?
Yeah, Bay has 22 touchdown passes. I'm going to be at that game, by the way, because we're going to be writing about Devin Leary's final game. He has 102 career touchdown passes. It's just amazing what he has done. I think Timber Creek's going to rebound from that very tough loss to Delsey, a game they had in hand and had some special teams gaffes, and I think Timber Creek's going to go out on a winning note.
Here's another great game for South Jersey fans, Camden and Woodrow Wilson.
That really is, because Camden was, upset in the first round by Cinnaminson, and so Camden's been licking its chops. Wilson's in the South Jersey Group 3 final, but don't think that Wilson's looking ahead or taking this game lightly. That game, both teams play to win, but I like Camden in that. Any team that can beat RV the way Camden did, that's a pretty good team.
How about Camden Catholic and Paul VI?
Well, I'm a Paul VI graduate, and I tell Nick Stratton, the coach of Camden Catholic, good luck in 8 out of your 9 regular season games, but they just have too much. And Paul VI has done a really, really good job. Glenn Hutton, they were a 3-win team last year. They have 5 wins now, but I think Camden Catholic just has too much firepower.
Williamstown, who gave Millville a great game in the playoffs in the first round. Williamstown took Millville to overtime. They will take on Washington Township.
Yeah, Washington Township has just struggled. You remember, because you've been around South Jersey a while, how many years Washington Township was a South Jersey power, and the program's kind of fallen back. They hope to kind of rebound, but I like Williamstown in this kind of decisively.
All right, I have some Cape Atlantic League guys sitting here next to me that call these games, so we got to run through some games from down the shore. One of my favorites is the Anchor Bowl, Lower Cape May and Middle Township.
Well, Middle Township has quietly done some pretty good things this year, and I think Middle Township could win decisively in that.
Okay, here's a bigger one. Holy Spirit and Atlantic City.
Wow, how about Holy Spirit losing to Mater Day by 35-34 after losing to them on that crazy hook and ladder the year before in the playoffs. 8-2 this year. Atlantic City's played as tough a schedule as anybody. I just don't think the Vikings have enough. I think Holy Spirit will win this game.
How about Egg Harbor Township and Mainland? My partner Dave Clemick's alma mater, Mainland.
Whoever thought a few years ago that these two teams would struggle the way they have, right? Both of them, in the past when Tony DeRosa had it going at Egg Harbor and Bob Coffey had it going at Mainland, those teams were legitimate contenders, but I'd have to go with EHT in this one.
Okay, and how about Ocean City and Pleasantville? This would be a good game. Two teams that went to the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think Chris Sacco has done as good a job as anyone. Remember at Pleasantville, they were 0-10 his first year when he took over, and he's just built the program. As you mentioned, they got to the playoffs. Don't know if they have enough depth to match up with Ocean City. So my good friend Tom Williams, I like his alma mater, Ocean City, in this one.
We've gone through a lot of games, and we're still here. We still have plenty of time left, so we can keep talking to Mark. This is great South Jersey football talk here during halftime. And getting back to RV, you've seen a lot of RV teams through the years. Where does Iverson Clement and Bryce Mangine, that running back combo, compare? Would you consider them two of the best to come out of RV?
Well, I don't know about Mangine. I think he still has some, and that's take nothing away from him. He's a very good player, but Clement, now you're talking about, one of the all-timers. Now remember, I'm an old guy, so I saw when Irving Fryer played here, and they've had so many great people here, and Iverson Clement will certainly put his name up among the greats at Rancocas Valley.
I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Iverson Clement went over 3,000 yards rushing for his career at RV, and you think of the history of the school. Besides maybe back in the day when Bill Gordon was running the wing tee and RV had good teams, I don't know if there's another running back in RV history to rush for over 3,000 yards.
Well, my friend Chuck Langerman would know that. He's the guy that does the stats for our magazine. He's done a tremendous job. We do the South Jersey preseason book every year. He would know that. I have to say I don't know that, but he's certainly one of the better ones. One of the better RV running backs was Sam Jenkins, who ended up coaching here, went to Temple and everything. He was a tremendous back, and I'm sure there are many others that I'm just drawing a blank on. I'm sure there are many others. They've had some great skilled people here at RV.
You know, one thing I'd like to talk about is just RV's head coach, Dan Hausman. He, you think about RV, from the start of the sectional playoffs in 1974, I believe, up till 2013, RV had gone to 2 sectional finals in the school history, in 1977 and 1987. In the last 4 years, RV's gone now to 2 sectional finals under Dan Hausman. Just what type of job has he done with this program?
A tremendous job, because you remember, Dean, when he took over, they were really struggling. And not only did he bring the program back, but he brought it back playing a very difficult schedule. So I give him a lot of props. He's got it going here at RV. He's done one of the better coaching jobs you've seen in South Jersey in recent years.
You talk about RV's schedule. You know, a lot of the people around that American division, the teams have always kind of complained. Well, RV gets a pass because they don't have to play the Cherokee and the Williamstown and Washington Township, which they have this year, and kind of got into the playoffs by playing some lesser teams, some smaller schools. How do you think RV is going to do in this new revamped division for next year? Will they be able to hang with those powerhouses, the Cherokees, the Shawnees, the Lenepes that we hear so much about, that have been so consistent over the years?
I think so, Dean. I mean, I think that this year they beat Millville, as you alluded to. They beat Lenape. I mean, they've beaten some really good teams. The thing that's the hardest is week to week. You can't let up. It's the old cliche. There are very few easy games. Even the teams that are winless are decent teams if they played outside of their division. So, but I think they're going to be successful. I mean, will they win 11 games every year? I don't know about that, because there's so much parity and there's so much talent. But they will be a competitive team and a team capable of competing for the postseason on a yearly basis.
It's almost like the Hamilton team. We talk about their losing record, but yeah, they get to the playoffs and now they're in the South Jersey Group 4 final.
Well, remember, Hamilton is in that American division. Right. It wasn't that long ago. They were like a Group 2 school. Remember, they were a dominant Group 2 team under Pete Lancetta there. But they've come up and they've done well, and they've been competitive in the American. You remember they lost their quarterback last year, and that really killed them. Or else, they might have been a playoff team a year ago. So, yeah, Hamilton's competitive. People said, what's going to happen when they play the big schools? These people adapt, and Hamilton has certainly done that.
Well, this has been an awesome halftime with Mark Narducci filling us in on all the matchups, everything that's going on in South Jersey football. He's like the encyclopedia here.
You think he knows a little bit about what's going on in South Jersey football?
Just a little bit. I mean, he could have told us something about every team.
Can I tell you something? My good friend and colleague Phil Anastasia knows twice as much. Believe me. He and I talk South Jersey football every week. We do a little video and all, and he is really amazing. Does a great job.
The people that see that video, they all have one question: whose house is it?
Phil's.
Phil's house. Yeah, they do a great segment breaking down the games every week. We love to watch it. I love to read your stuff. Mark, if you don't know, he does more than just high school. He's all over college football, college basketball. You name it. Mark's right.
Puts out that great publication as well.
And the publication, obviously, the high school football. So, Mark, what's coming up in the paper? What can people look forward to online and in the paper tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow I was off from doing stuff tomorrow. I have Temple stuff the rest of the week because they're going to be trying to get bowl eligible by beating Tulsa, so I have a lot of that. But also I'll be at Timber Creek. We'll have a great Friday section because I think Phil's going to Lenape Shawnee. I'll be at Timber Creek Winslow. We're covering Camden Wilson, so we're going to have a really extensive day. Our deadlines, because of Thanksgiving, the papers are so thick, are already done. So you'll even read a little bit about this game in Friday's paper as well.
You guys get to have a good Thanksgiving then once you get home?
Once you get home, but you go to the games. I think Phil and I have both been doing it for about 30 years. I'm sure Tony has, and the rest of you guys have as well.
Could you imagine a Thanksgiving not covering a high school football game?
You know, I've only had one in about 30 years, Dean. Our paper, I don't know if you recall, was on strike. And it was really a weird feeling. It's the only time I saw the Detroit Lions play on Thanksgiving.
So you get a complete insight on the life of this man.
Yeah, well, thanks, Mark. We really appreciate you stopping by and talking with us. We hope you warmed up.
I did.
And you'll be back there on the sidelines for the second half and have a story on this game tomorrow, right?
Well, Friday's paper, but yeah, it'll be up online, yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, that's Mark Narducci from the Philadelphia Inquirer, and we're almost out of time here at halftime as RV's back on the field warming up.
Fantastic, Dean. And Mark, of course.
Historian.
Can you believe it?
Unbelievable. I just learned, he knows more about, he forgot more than I even know about South Jersey football. Unbelievable.
All right, so RV is back on the field. Here comes Burlington Township, and we're going to be set for the second half kickoff in just a moment. 14-6 the score. Rancocas Valley leads it. Highway Tire and Auto Service stocks a wide selection of tires for your vehicle. Passenger tire inventory includes favorite brands like Goodyear, Kelly, and Dunlop. You get the best replacement tire for your car, light truck, or SUV right now. But there's more. Highway Tire and Auto Service, family owned and operated for over 50 years, also offers specials on oil changes, alignment, and brake service. Highway Tire and Auto Service, 1661 Route 38 in Mount Holly. Phone them 609-267-5300 or visit them online at highwaytires.com. We're going to be set for the second half kickoff right after this word from Miller Ford.
I'm going to fill my car up.
I don't know if he's doing it, so you want to turn it down. Do I still read? I've been. Okay. Okay, but if we do that, just to let you know, we don't have a crowd mic. So it's fine, I don't care. Well, in that case, we'll do this.
All right, back here at Burlington Township, we have the complete coverage here in the second half as Dean is going to be joining us along with Dave to comment on what's going on here. And guys, what do you think of the first half as far as maybe Rancocas Valley coming out a little bit flat?
They were flat. You come out, like I said, it was disagreed with, but I thought this was an emotional trap game because I played in one just like this. We're playing a Thanksgiving game prior to a state championship when all your focus is definitely on winning a state championship and not, even though this does have something to do with your conference title, I'm telling you, these kids don't think about their conference. They want the state. So they come out a little bit flat, and I think they're picking up, and their depth is just going to start to win the game late. That's what's going to happen.
You talk about football, such an emotional sport, and RV comes off that emotional high, beating Millville in the fourth quarter. So much drama that game. The next thing you know, it's Saturday morning. You're still on a high. Sunday, you go back to school on Monday. Everybody's still talking about the game, and then all of a sudden you're on the practice field and you're like, oh my God, we have a game in a day from now.
Yeah.
So it's just like so hard, you would think, for the entire team, the coaches. I mean, because there was so much, the school was celebrating that win over Millville. They wanted that revenge after losing to them the year before. They got that revenge in dramatic fashion, and obviously the school's just very excited. The community's very excited. So to be back on the field on a Wednesday night, against a good team. I mean, Burlington Township's a playoff team. They're a good team.
Film study where you're sitting in there and you're just normally very, very focused. Even if you go through hours and hours of film study, you're still thinking about something forward. I just have been there, so I kind of remember exactly the feeling. Trying to get through an Egg Harbor Township game when I got Woodrow Wilson coming at me a week from then, and that's where your focus really was.
Chris Cabbage with a kick, and is going to go out of bounds, and that's going to cost him
RV should have jumped on that ball there. That would have been an onside kick. They let it roll out of bounds.
I did learn something from Mark a minute ago. The first time I ever in my life tried to use my Hall of Fame card, which gets you into any game at Mainland for free, I walked in on a state playoff game, and I didn't know that the ticket sales go to the state. Well, I walked in there, and you just go, all right, me and John Stone just got inducted to the Hall of Fame. We're like, all right, let's use our cards, And they go, nope, not on the state championship. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm at Mainland, and they're like, nope, not here, not today. So we had to come out of our pocket for $3.
Yeah, they knocked you down.
Yeah, they did. Right back then, I threw that card out after that.
So fame will get you only so much, right?
High school fame, yes.
Ruskavich with just a one-step kickoff. Bounces down at the 30-yard line, picked up by Johnson. Johnson starts to his right, now finds room as he's across the 40, still on his feet across the 45, and finally is going to be corralled at the 47-yard line. So a good return by Johnson and sets him up in very good field position to start off this initial drive of the second half. They're down 14-6.
Yeah, not to keep getting into it, but when you're playing a little flat, you don't make these excitable plays where you're completely extended. And there was a couple opportunities to tackle Johnson right there, which they just kind of let go through, and that's why they're up at the 50-yard line.
Rajowski is the quarterback. The snap, they give to Robertson off left guard, picks up one or two.
And a little bit of that has to, Condris is out, Watson is out. So your two starting receivers are out, and you're playing your backups in, and that has a little something to do with it. And not that Keyshawn Harrison isn't as explosive. He is as explosive, but, those Condris and Watson would have caught those screen passes. Those little passes, they don't drop.
Brzezowski looking to throw it. And this one is over the middle. It's complete inside the 35-yard line to the 34-yard line. A bullet for Johnson.
Fingertip grab. Great catch over the middle.
That was. It caught the ball nicely away from his body and low. Those are tough. And you're going to get hit usually, so you kind of cringe a little bit, but he played that beautifully.
Brzezowski giving off to Robertson. Pounds up the middle for 2, maybe 3. So they do have a nice passing game, this Burlington Township club, and as Dean mentioned, they are a quality club, coming at 6 up and 3 down, so they're not a pushover here, and they're showing it here this evening.
And people just tuning in now thinking that RV's taking it easy. No, they have their starters in. They're not looking ahead to that Group 5 championship game with Lenape.
Again, Robertson, this time nothing there at all.
Edric. One of these guys with these long arms, man, they make the plays and they reach their hands up and knock the ball down. And you have a shorter quarterback, like I was saying before. You can make a real big impact on the game just by putting your hands up and making the throwing lanes look like you're throwing through trees.
Loss of a yard, so now 3rd down and 8. Ball to 30. Brzezowski is looking to throw the football. Under pressure, throws. It's a flutter. This one could be picked off, and it's knocked down.
Well, that was a great play by Johnson to just knock that ball down and play defensive back at that point.
Malik Lowell there to provide the defense, and he was in great position to make that interception. The ball fluttered as he was under heat as he let fly. They appear like they're going to be going for it here on 4th down, and they are. 4th and 8.
How do you play Justin? Look at this.
Brzezowski sets, fires to the right side, and this one is picked off. Intercepted.
Joel Anaya on that pick. Beautiful.
Run out of bounds, but a great play there by, you forget it, as I mentioned earlier in the season, Dave, we forget about him. He's the leading tackler on the team, and there with a pick.
He does it quietly, but, he's made some, he's always, just part of the crew in there that you see. He's in gang tackles a lot, and that's why they gang up and he's in on those tackles, so you're not calling his name out individually. He's usually in a pile, but he's productive.
That was a tough throw, though, to try to force it in there, and he was there there to step in front and pick it off.
They undercut that perfectly. Those are tough passes when you're throwing across the field like that. You got to be really careful. You got to really drill them in.
At the 27, it's Clement. Clement with a big gain across the midfield line to the 47-yard line of Burlington Township.
It's funny when, Iverson or Clement has the ball. I watch him run a lot now. And running on turf versus running on a muddier field, his gait is completely different. He stands a lot taller. He doesn't lean into his run. He can't knock you over as much because he doesn't have as much traction to the ground. It looks like a completely different runner out there.
25 yards on the carry by Clement.
Still effective. Everybody's got to play in that, but he has a much, much different gait.
Wildcat, look at this here.
First down from the 48-yard line of Burlington Township. Clement takes it himself. Pounds off left guard. Nearly another first down, and we saw this a lot last week against Millville with the Wildcat setup, and he, of course, is no stranger to that. He can run it effectively and also can throw it.
And we saw during pregame warm-ups today, I was walking on the field, and I see Iverson working with Mangine, working with the receivers, throwing passes, and I start to think, oh, maybe they're going to put him in a quarterback a little bit. So.
Yeah, and he completed a pass last week, too. I mean, he's got an arm.
We see it again right here. Second and a long two. Clement takes it himself to the right side. Clement with a first down. You can see him just slow up. No rush to really rush the play, and he's run out of bounds, but they do have the first down.
And 44, the lead blocker there, who just had the interception for us.
Joel doing his thing, man.
Both sides of the ball.
Both sides of the ball. And I was saying earlier, and I apologize to you guys for not giving enough credit this season. You have so many explosive players on offense and so many big plays that you just kind of get overlooked. But nobody's ever. Every time I've ever scored a touchdown or something in my life, I always give the ball back to the offensive line. And now look at them this week. Every time I see them hustle downfield all the way to the end zone, just so they can high five their players. Man, my heart goes out to you guys. You guys are awesome this year.
And coming into the season, I don't think the RV line, there was some question marks on how good they would be. They lost a lot of seniors from last year, and you knew you had Clement, you knew you had Mangine, but you really didn't know what the chemistry was going to be like on that offensive line, and those guys have really played well this year.
Yeah, they're not big by any means, but very athletic.
Tell that to Jacob Hines, 6'5", 285, playing right tackle right now.
Yeah, I wasn't really talking about him. He would have been twice the size of any of the linemen I played with.
Watch number 75 on this play.
And now another whistle.
Just watch one of them
right behind him.
Yeah, watch what they do.
A delay of game call against the Rancocas Valley. It seemed like the officials called an official timeout. That took forever, and then by the time they got the play in and ran it, delay of game. Kind of a strange call right there, but that's what it was.
I think that's only their third penalty of the day, any type of procedure penalties. And last week, Coach Hausman said they tried to keep it to 4. I think they did. I think they kept it to 4, like kind of just of their own mistakes, whether it was holding or a procedure penalty. Pretty sure they kept it to 4, because prior to that with Camden, they just had a ton of penalties that killed them. They really beat themselves against Camden.
They are having
chain gang difficulties.
Chronic chain gang difficulties. The stick, the yard marker indicator is just not really moving the sticks very quickly. But it is correct now. It's a 1st and 15. The ball is at the 37-yard line of Burlington Township. The officials going over to give some assistance to the chain gang, and now they have it straightened out, and we will resume here. Stack formation to the left side. Clement with the give, with a blocker in front. Sykes with a big gain inside the 20-yard line, down to the 12.
There he is, Mighty Mouse.
Tony, that's your guy. This is Tony's guy. He keeps it every week. Like, when are they going to call his number? When are they going to call his number? And every time they do, he makes something happen. He makes something special happen. Even on special teams, whenever he has already had a great return today. Whenever he's called on, he's done very well.
And a perfect call there, too. You got Clement, who's the big threat at running back. Now he's handing off to Sykes, and he kind of just gets lost and had a great block on the right side. Again, Sykes with a big opening up the middle to the goal line, and he's in for the touchdown.
And that's his second touchdown of the game.
So Sykes with a big run.
Man, he's quick. And Iverson just picked him up off the ground, and if he's 5'5", that's all he is. But he is explosive, and he could play a big factor in any game, and he always is. Whether it's throwing blocks, whatever he's asked to do, he's just a great team player, Mark Sykes.
Preskavich to attempt, Mangine to hold. The kick is good.
And you know, it's funny, every time they line up the kick now, I'm watching Mangine, I'm watching Danny Myers line up on that left side of the line to see if they're looking to go with that two-point conversion play that won them the game against Millville. Just sitting there, and you could see Burlington Township holding back just to prevent that.
Yeah, I wonder how, if anybody was out there watching that game, if you got to see that in person, that was a little bit of RV history. It'll go down in history as one of those plays. Like, you got a South Jersey football historian here. I bet you he's going to write a story about that play, or it'll be like one of those marks as one of the great times in RV football, and that was it right there, that two-point conversion.
Well, I talked to Coach Houseman today earlier, and I asked him, what were you thinking about when you called that play? And he said, well, we have a great special teams coach in Battaglia. We practice this all the time. So that wasn't just something that happened. Of course, they didn't run the exact play that they had planned to, because Millville was going for the all-out block. Once they saw that, nobody back, they went to the pass. Easy pitch and catch.
And Bryce Mangine, who makes the call on that play, I mean, you have a kid who's going to Penn, smart kid, made a great decision.
Yeah, you know what's weird about the play is you think when the guy has the ball in his hand, his knee is on the ground, that's it. Like, you can't get up and run, because they would call the play down. But they do make that exception on that play.
And some people were pointing that out online, that his knee was down.
Right. Like, if you had to have your knee up a little bit to fake it, but he didn't. He did have his knee on the ground.
Rogers with the return has room. He's across the 30-yard line to the 32-yard line. So Burlington Township again with a football. Well, I asked Coach Houseman, I said, the prevailing wisdom is you play for the tie at home. You play for the win on the road. I said, did you worry at all about the fact that if you miss this, people are going to be second-guessing you? He says, no, not really, because, hey, we still had the defense we could put back in the field, and we could stop them, so we probably get another chance with the football. So he really said, look, we have the kids who can make the plays, and I'm not afraid to call those plays. The throw over the middle, incomplete, intended there for Pegram, and should have been caught.
Yeah, that time he felt, you hear the footsteps right there. I mean, I would have. So I kind of know. I'm like, I know exactly what happened. He would have made that catch. He kind of alligator-armed a little bit, and Kendrick was all over him and backed off on the hit, and I think he wanted to pick up the ball, but that was pressure by Kendrick that made him drop that.
Is that 200 or 500 in the pot?
That would be two hands. That's a 500 in the pot. Oh, gosh.
Krasowski's going to throw, but he's not going to have any chance to get that one off. He's dumped back at the 25, 26-yard line. Pocket there just collapsed around him.
The big boys up front getting it done.
Yep. Look at the arms on Edric and Swoop. They just have these really long arms, and they just make, they don't even have to be, they can be being blocked, and then they can make a tackle behind the line of scrimmage with those long arms.
Third down and 18. Krasowski not going to put it up. Hands to Robertson. Robertson does slip as he looks to cut back to the right side before he's covered.
Short carry, number 21, Robertson. Tackle the play, number 3.
Kendrick falls on top.
Fourth down.
And they're going to be forced to punt the football.
That RV defensive line just has their ears pinned back right now, knowing that Burlington Township's going to throw the ball.
Look who's back there to receive it. The quarterback, Bryce Mangine. Golak, the kick. going to be down in Burlington Township territory, right at the 45-yard line. So great field position, and now we're going to be interested to see what Coach Hausman's going to do. There's 6:19 left in the third quarter. Is he going to start to substitute some players with the anticipation, of course, of not getting anyone injured with a big game coming up a week from Saturday?
Well, I guess what I was trying, I wanted to see Alan Watson have the ball in his hands a little bit, just to get some confidence, because he hasn't had a lot of touches, even though he should be a really effective player and a very improved player. I've watched him over the course of the season improve his just stuff away from the ball, blocking, running routes, the way he does everything. He's just gotten a little bit better at everything. I wish he was out on the field to catch some balls today, though.
Now again, the Wildcat, but not back there was Iverson Clement. That was Harris with a carry. Picked up a couple.
You talk about Keyshawn Harris, Tony and Dave. That guy, he had the two biggest catches last week against Millville, and I don't think any of us realized those were his first two catches of the season. He had the long bomb and then the slant for the touchdown that got RV back into that game. He hadn't caught a ball all season before that.
You know, there's a couple players that look very, very similar. You know, Harris and Matlock, they all wear 26, 24, 25, 26, 24. They all look very similar, the running back numbers. And it's tough to tell, but, you know, Ty Matlock had a nice kickoff return against Camden. He's another player. They just have a lot of depth. These guys can score from everywhere. Unfortunately, it doesn't give them great stats. Even Iverson's stats aren't unbelievable this year because they have so much depth, but he does a lot away from the ball, and just his presence does a lot.
I think that Harris really could make a difference in that big game coming up a week from Saturday, too, because, you know, he's a threat to catch the football, and I think that might be his best position, although he's a great runner. You just saw that run right there as he powered for a big gain from that Wildcat position, so he is a very talented player and really showing it off the last few weeks. There he is again. Looking to sweep the left side, being hemmed in, but still able to surge forward for a yard, maybe two.
And they said he went off and made a really nice name for himself at some of those combines they do. Like, you know, I think he went to the Nike combine and ran a 4.5 or under. And really, some of the colleges really showed up for him. And he is, you know, is not as productive because he's playing behind Superman, but, you know, he's a very good athlete.
Well, he's not as productive number-wise,
right?
But as far as talent-wise and what he can do with the football, both from the running back position and from the wide receiver. Don't forget, if they put him in the backfield, that puts a lot of pressure on the defense because he can get out into the passing game.
Yeah, I'd take him at Mainland. I'd move him into my house so he could play for the Mainland.
Timeout called by Rancocas Valley with 4:11 left in the third. They lead it 21-6. And Adams Electrical Contractors are your residential specialists, handling additions, renovations, and basements. Adams Electrical can supply and install generators, indoor and outdoor lighting, ceiling fans, smoke detectors, whatever you need. They offer free estimates and have been in business for over 35 years. Adams Electrical Contractors, 139 Pine Street in Mount Holly. Phone 609-267-8715 or visit them online at adamselectrical.com.
And if fans are wondering right now where Iverson Clement is, he's standing on the 40-yard line of his sideline, no helmet, just hands on his pads right now. Pretty much looks like he may be done for the evening.
That's kind of where I want him. You know, that's kind of where I want him right there. Save his legs. Don't pull any, you know, hamstring or something.
I'm sure a lot of people sitting in those RV stands are saying the same thing. Get him out of the game. You're up 2 touchdowns. Let the other guys bring it home.
And you know, it was neat. I tried to interview him at the end of the game, and he had already had a bunch of people in front of him, and you know, and I said, he's like, he knows me by name now. It's pretty cool. He's like, Dave, I really want to, but look over there. Look at how many people want to see me right now. I got to go be with my team right now. I said, you know, go ahead. And he ran over me, and they were all doing the Gator sign and he got to run over there, and everybody hugged him. Pretty emotional. It was hard for me not to get choked up.
Here's Sykes bursting up the middle for 5 or 6 to the 31. 1-yard line after the 5-yard walk-off for a legal procedure against the Red Devils. It's going to bring up 3rd and a long 6.
Well, hopefully we can get to Iverson after the game today and get to Coach Hausman and get their thoughts on this game and what's ahead.
All right, let's see you do it. Let's see you go for it.
It's using the mic, right? It's always the mic's fault.
I tried to last week. I apologize. I didn't give him Hausman for very much time. I had to. It wasn't, the mic doesn't reach the 50-yard line. So after the media had everybody at the 50, I tried to pull him over, and you could see everybody screaming and yelling to get him over there. So my apologies to everybody who's watching. I only got him for 2 seconds.
Sykes with a carry, picks up another first down, so he's had a productive evening, has Mr. Sykes.
2 touchdowns, racking up some rushing yards.
It's just tough to get everybody involved. There's so many good players, as Davis mentioned, that you see them and you say, wow, but they're options. Quick throw to the left side, dangerous throw, but it's complete for the left corner of the end zone for the touchdown.
Ethan Jackson. Senior Ethan Jackson.
Not a name that we've called a lot. No, a great play right there.
Yeah, it's a great job. We're just talking about their depth. This is maybe the first or second pass he's caught all season, and executed that beautifully.
He's the punter, but also can catch the football, right?
Well, there you go.
It's good they probably work in some of the seniors too to catch some balls right now, because when they get to the state final, it's going to be strictly their starters.
So Proskavich again will attempt. Low snap, but Mangine gets it down. The question is, did he get it through? And he did.
Barely made it through.
Burlington Township coming after that kicker throughout this game today.
Yeah, they kind of punished Proskavich on the one play. I think that maybe actually spooked him a little bit. Sometimes that works. You'll accept one penalty to spook the kicker a little bit. I've seen that happen, many times, and and then you start thinking about it. Something that you normally don't think about, and the kicker starts thinking not just between the uprights, but what's going on around him, and it does its job.
Parent Chief Chapels has been part of the greater Mount Holly community for over 180 years. Community service and participation are both part of their heritage. When you have a need for their services, call them at 609-267-0399 or go to their website, parentchief.com, or visit their warm and comfortable offices at 438 High Street in Mount Holly. They are there to honor the memory of your loved one. Parent Chief Chapels, a proud supporter of the student athletes at Rancocas Valley High School. So 28 unanswered points for Rancocas Valley. They now lead it 28-6 with 3 minutes left in the third.
You'll see these teams with a lot of depth can take over in the later parts of the game when your guys have been playing both sides of the ball the whole time, and they're just rotating them through, and everybody's just as good as the next, and they can play real fresh the entire game, and that's just what's going on.
Rogers with a return to the 20-yard line.
He was already down when the ball came out.
So Burlington Township with the football again have not been able to do much with it since that first drive.
Tony, one of the things a lot of our fans out there might not know, we have a big crowd out here tonight. It's cold out, chilly, but a lot of fans have come out to root on both teams, and unfortunately, from what I hear, this game will not be renewed next year. Both teams going in different directions. It's been a good series, though. They played 5 times on Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving Eve, and 3-2 in the series. RV leads, but it's a shame. This has been a competitive game, and that's what you like to see on Thanksgiving. Just unfortunately, with the way the divisions are lined up, the schools, their decisions they're making on what to do with the schedule next year.
And they're only 3 miles down the road.
And they're very close, exactly. But they will not be playing next year on Thanksgiving. RV is attempting, from what I hear, to line up Pemberton to play on Thanksgiving, a team that they've traditionally had a nice history with. Pemberton's a Group 3 school, which is a little bit smaller than what RV's accustomed to playing, but look for next year for RV to be playing Pemberton on Thanksgiving.
Johnson with the toss, completing it to Pay, and then, of course, the last run by Robertson, looking to sweep the left side again. Robertson, he fumbles the football. It's picked up by RV, but let's see how they're going to rule it here. Will they say he is down? And they will.
Do you want to know how I know this is 3 miles away from Rancocas Valley?
I do. Yeah, I know.
Well, I drove to Rancocas Valley thinking that the game was there, and I had enough time to go, oh, it's just down the street. I really thought I wasn't going to make it tonight.
But here you are. 3rd down and 5 for the Falcons. From the 42, back to Paskazowski, and he is crushed.
Sap.
Why? Roll the kid out. The middle stinks.
He is a player, no question about it.
He had a fake punt today where he played a little fullback, and if you use a fullback, he is a prototypical type of a fullback player, middle linebacker. He's been fun to watch all year, and what a really nice kid too.
Garlack will kick it from his 17, and Mangine back to receive it, standing right around the 42-yard line.
And what is he, a quadruplet or a triplet?
I think he said he was quad. Ball bounces down at the 45-yard line. It's going to be down at the 47-yard line. So you know he's tough because, you know, when you're trying to share all the food and get there.
I wonder if all the other ones are just as muscular as he is.
And we do have one score update for you. Another Thanksgiving Eve game. Northern Burlington leads Pemberton 13-6 right now in the second quarter. Also a big game out in Cherry Hill tonight. Cherry Hill East and Cherry Hill West in a game they call the Battle for the Boot. It's an awesome game out there. I know a lot of fans are interested in that, but both those schools have not won a game. So they're both 0-8 going for a win. What a way to end the season.
Wow.
So has Cherry Hill East won a game?
No, they're both winless.
Drive.
Here's the give off the left side. Pounding for a first down and more, just refusing to go down. Sykes with the carry again. So they're really feeding the little guy, but the little guy is producing big results.
We may have to line up Mark Sykes after the game.
Yeah, man, he's truly, if you had to pick an MVP right now, he has a great return, 2 touchdowns.
There we go.
And that's going to be the last play of this third quarter with Rancocas Valley extending their lead. They now are on top, 28-6. Well, Premier Barbershop is the place to get your haircut. They have experienced barbers at Premier who specialize in the latest styles, fades, temple tapers, mohawks, comb-over designs, and more. Premier Barbershop at 14 High Street in Mount Holly. They're a diversified establishment. If you look good, they look good. Get sharp at Premier Barbershop in Mount Holly. And over the years, Third Base Sports and Trophies has grown into one of the leading companies on the East Coast in providing all of your trophy and apparel needs. Located on Hollywood Avenue in Cherry Hill, they provide one-stop shopping to their customers with outstanding quality, service, and affordability. Open Monday through Friday from 9 till 5, Saturdays from 9 till noon. Phone 856-665-0114. Now here's one of the great taglines in any commercial. Remember to stop at third base on your way home. That's good.
Guys at third base always do a great job with the jerseys and the trophies. I know the guys out there, and we thank them and thank all our sponsors throughout the season to make this happen. Without them, we couldn't do these live broadcasts. So thanks to all the sponsors, and let's go fourth quarter now.
Mangine back in at quarterback. Mangine surges over the left side inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. And Dean
actually, it looks like Mangine, but it looks like it's number 48.
Was it?
Was.
Okay.
That was Daniel Myers.
Okay.
Daniel Myers got up from the pile, unless I missed it.
No, I think you're right.
Yep.
Myers, the hero, along with Mangine last week. Of course, we can't forget Mr. Clement with the return, but
you're right. Mangine is still at quarterback.
First down from the 39. Quick toss to the right side. This one is complete. Pulling free along the right sideline. Picks up a couple of yards.
Jerome Hill, another one of those 24, 25, 26 players. These guys they look very similar. They're like kind of that, if you're talking about body types, it's called a endomorph, I believe, is like the muscular kind of running back look. And they look kind of alike, and they play very similar. And they're very, very interchangeable. Whether defensive back or running back or slot receiver, they have a lot of depth. They're very interchangeable.
I'm going to have to find a way to use that word in my conversation some way.
Yeah, there's a couple different body types. There's ectomorphs, endomorphs, and mesomorphs. And the endomorph is the running back type. This is something where, this is one of those things that I know about my other work, and it's neat with football players. The different types of body types play different positions.
It always sounds like dinosaurs.
Yeah, it does.
Really? You know the name?
And Sykes continues to run the ball well for RV.
Third down and a long 4.
Is it Sykes or Sproles?
Here he is again. Big hole up the middle. He's got the first down, but look at him drive tacklers back inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. Another first down. So he is having himself an evening here.
Yeah, Darren Sproles is about maybe a little bit taller than him. That's what he looks like. Stinks that we're missing him this year, but we're doing fine without him. But he's a special player. I think he's my favorite one of the Eagles besides Carson Wentz now. But I love Darren Sproles. I know him personally, actually. My roommate from my second year in the league was J.J. Moses, a 5'6" kick returner. They ended up going to the Texans. We cut him because we had Dante Hall, a 5'7" kick returner, but we had Dante Hall, and so JJ's first cousin was Darren Sproles, and we used to go to watch him play at K-State while he was there, and my cousins were actually at K-State as in the band. So I kind of, while I was in Kansas, it was crazy, and we watched Darren Sproles kick butt in a couple of those games in Kansas or K-State, and we'd watch him when he played, probably 3 games, and got to know him. So I knew he was going to be an awesome NFL player. Not as good as he was, but the two of those guys were under 5'7" each of them, and they both played a long time in the league.
Ethan Jackson split out to the left side, but here's Sykes again getting the call off right guard. Picks up a gain of 5 or 6 on first down inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. Workhorse tonight, Mark Sykes.
Listen, when it's slow, you're going to hear stories about me. Or if it's. And now I just heard so much history about the South Jersey football. That was just unbelievable. I can't believe you could just spit that much, fire. That was just unbelievable.
Yeah, Mark Narducci does. He's been covering South Jersey football for a long time.
But, of course, deferred to his partner, Mr. Anastasia, as far as the greater volume of knowledge, but I don't know about that. Here's Mangine turning the corner. Mangine with a first down. And Mangine inside the 10-yard line. They're going to mark it inside the 5 at the 4-yard line. So, again, Rancocas Valley knocking at the door. And no Iverson Clement since the third quarter. But Sykes, Mangine, and Harris and company have done a great job for this Red Devil team. 9-1. Could make it 10-1, but of course looking forward to a week from Saturday at Rowan at 6 o'clock. Again, unfortunately, we will not be able to cover that game, but why not head on out to Rowan University? Check it out. At the 4, Sykes again, right side to the goal line, and he is in for the touchdown.
3 touchdowns today.
Mighty Mouse is on fire.
Wow. He's gonna end up being one of the leading scorers on the team after this game.
So now 34-6. Prescavage in again for the extra point. That's 34 straight points after trailing 6-0 against a good Burlington Township team, but they're showing their superiority here this evening. The kick is good.
Yep, that'll put him at number 3 for rushing touchdowns this season, just after one game.
8:37 left in the ball game, now 35-6, Rancocas Valley. Well, there was something for everybody at Dempster Sports Pub in Mount Holly. Early bird specials, Mexican Monday, Saturday breakfast, Thirsty Thursday. A great menu featuring their scrumptious burgers, nightly entertainment, and a wide array of beverages. But Dempster Sports Pub was designed for the sports fan. You can watch all the NFL and college football games, plus baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, you name it. And they have their own teams for shuffleboard, darts, and horseshoes. Dempster Sports Pub, that is, 437 Pine Street, just off Route 38 in Mount Holly, where friends become family.
And Tony, we have a lot of fans, a lot of people from South Jersey, especially from the RV community out there watching the game tonight on YouTube. We appreciate everyone that's watched the games throughout the year. My special friend, Carolee Gray, she's a teacher at RV, does a great job with their business program there with the students, and she wanted me to get this out to all the RV fans and alumni that the RV, the Devil Den, is going to be open. That's their school store for evening hours for anyone that would like to do some Red Devil holiday shopping. You can mark your calendars, all right? Evening shopping hours at the Devil's Den will be held on November 29th and December 13th from 6:30 to 8:30. If you're looking for that perfect holiday gift, if you're an RV fan, RV student, upcoming RV student, if you're in 8th grade, those are your dates to get to the RV Devil's Den at night and do your holiday shopping. That's November 29th and December 13th from 6:30 to 8:30 at the school. So get out there and do your shopping.
Isaiah Pay with the kick. And here's a pass for a big gainer. That one complete to Kadeem Pegram, and he's into RV territory. He was wide open on my toss.
I was pointing to my partners here at number 26. He was uncovered on the slot, so the quarterback made a great play and just noticing that, and then tossed him like a seam route. It was like his hot route because there was no one covering him.
Kozowski is the quarterback, a senior at 5'9", 165. This thrown again and completed to Pay inside the 20. He's going to be finally knocked down at the 17-yard line. So they can toss it around, but they've had some drops in this football game, and they have not really been able to sustain anything in this game.
Yeah, a lot of those, you're going to drop a lot. And it's a little cold out, so it makes it a little harder. And you're going to end up with a lot of 3-and-outs when you throw the ball that much.
And they did have an illegal man downfield, so that one's coming back.
I have some score updates for us. Cherry Hill West leading Cherry Hill East 20-6. Absegami 7, Oakcrest nothing. Cumberland 6, Shalleck nothing. So the other games going on Thanksgiving Eve, just a few there.
First down and 15. Kozowski again looking to throw. Fires to the right side. This one is caught. Was he in bounds? He was not. Great catch though along the right sideline.
And takes out the trainer's table.
Right in the trainer's table. That was dangerous. I thought it was a little bit of a late push out of bounds there, and I'm not sure if he caught it.
Pegram, though, with the reception, but out of bounds.
Tough kid. He's had a couple. He's caught a couple over the middle today.
2nd and 15. Grozowski again being rushed, steps up, has room, cuts to his right, and he's going to go down inside the 30-yard line at the 28.
Part of the reason we were saying they looked a little flat today, or flat-footed, is the center of that field, and you can see where it gets the most action, is really muddy, and these guys are slipping all over the place now.
Grozowski again throwing to the right side. This one's picked off. This could be 6 along the left sideline, across the midfield line, and dumped at the 45-yard line of Burlington Township.
Tyreek Brown, a senior. 5'7", 170 senior, making the play. Haven't called his name yet this year, and then just showed up big.
Everyone contributing here this evening.
He's psyched. So glad to see the seniors getting some playing time and then making big plays like that.
Yeah, they practice too. So it's good to get them in the football game. And
I bet you that a lot of these guys, any one of these guys on this team could be starters on a lot of teams out there, like, mainland. And I really knew that Mark knew what he was talking about. If he, with 2 very insignificant teams this year, mainland and Carver Township, who would win between the 2 of them? He was paying a lot of attention.
New quarterback.
Casey Conley. The give, but there's not much room there at all off left guard.
Yeah, he's a junior.
Seeing a lot of new numbers on the field right now. A lot of new players.
Moses got that.
Just look at the uniforms. There are a lot of white uniforms, nice and clean, right there.
They're usually white on the turf anyway. But, now you get these muddy fields. You can definitely tell who's been playing.
There's another guy, Moses, who last year got quite a bit of action, and he got that last carry. But, again, just a lot of depth on this team.
Just are going to be good for a couple years now. And Hausman's created tradition at Rancocas Valley, and I love it. The fans are great. The facility's amazing, but you go to a Rancocas Valley football game, that's true. That's some really good New Jersey football. Some of the best.
Moses gets the call again. Stop made by Hoyt.
And ton of tradition in the NFL. They got 3 great, not just NFL football players, great NFL football players. Talking about Irving Fryer and Franco Harris. These 2 guys are legends, in the NFL. And, just great tradition. Now, I know Franco Harris has been back to school, and he comes back and does stuff.
It'll be interesting to see what Iverson Clement can do at Florida.
Right.
How good he can be.
And
because you never know. They look great here. How will they match up in the college environment?
I'd love to give you my assessment on him.
Quick pitch to the right side. Conley. That one is complete.
He's going to be an offensive player, is what I think. When he goes to Florida, they're going to look at some of the things, not just how he can run, because everyone can run. Everybody can run. You're going to get to a school like that, everyone's going to be a 4.4 guy, 4.5, 4.3, somewhere in that range. They're going to run, jump. They're going to be able to jump. They're going to have those real good measurables. But the thing that Iverson does is how he catches the ball. He can catch the ball. Like, his hands are unbelievable, and his vision is another thing. It's going to make him an offensive guy. Some guys can just run, not have that type of vision. He'll be an offensive player, and I think they'll be a slot receiver, most likely.
How many times this year have we seen him make a one-handed grab with the ball bouncing, going, out of bounds, that he just hauls in, and it makes you nervous as a coach watching it, but he does it with ease every time.
Yeah, and he has what we call a great effective range, meaning that he can get vertical, like downfield, up. He can jump with the ball. He's a 23-foot long jumper, already. That's fantastic for his size. And he catches the ball far away from his body. So that is a pure receiver.
know.
Well, after games like today and the weather, he's going to be definitely thinking south. You know what? I'm just going to go play south.
Rancocas Valley with a 4th down. They kick. That is going to be knocked down at the 40-yard line of Rancocas Valley.
And I got a chance to see Jabril Peppers play in high school when he was at Paramus Catholic and played in a scrimmage, just a scrimmage against St. Augustine's Prep. And I did not see that he had the same offensive skill. He had the same athleticism as Clement, but not that offensive, not that effective range that you call it, that Iverson has. And that made him a defensive player. Great athlete, but not those extra skills that Iverson has.
Krasowski is the quarterback. Robertson off the left side with a good gain on 1st down. Close to the 30-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 32-yard line. Lined up in a power running formation there. A little bit surprising here with under 5 minutes left in the game. They're going to the ground. At least they did on that play. And Grozowski is under center. But he'll roll out looking to throw on. Conley. Moses off the right side. Breaking tackles, picks up 7 or 8 yards. Right now, all we want to do is continue to move the sticks.
Yeah, every time I get down on the field with Coach Hausman, I realize that either I'm kind of small or he is just a big presence, man. And, you know, sometimes just that presence, like you having like Tim Watson, the head coach of Cedar Creek, humongous human being, played, you know, for the Seahawks, but couldn't be a nicer guy, but just commands your presence. Just you look at him and you're a little intimidated. And I think, you know, when he looks at you could see he turns around at his team and everyone kind of straightens up their tie a little bit, you know, straightens up their shoulder pads, their equipment, and just by looking at them. Coach Coffey was like that for us in Mainland.
So they're just waiting out. Here's the official starting to move the hands. Conley takes the snap, again gives off to Moses. This time he is hitting the backfield, and he's going to lose 3 or 4 yards. But again, they don't really care that much about the loss of yardage. They just want that clock to continue to run. Approaching 2 minutes left in this ball game.
I'm going to head down the sidelines. We'll see if we can get Coach Hausman to talk to us. We'll see if we can get maybe Mr. Clement and Mr. Sykes, who's had a great game today. See if we can get them to talk to us to finish off this season. But thanks to everybody that's been watching out there, and thanks to you guys, and thanks to our sponsors. It's been a great season. We would love to be doing the championship game. Unfortunately, the NJSIAA has their own rules, and unfortunately, we can't do the game. But we'll definitely, try to get there. I'll definitely want to go and watch and see how this RV team finishes the season. The game with Lenape is sure to be a great matchup again, and it'll be interesting to see how it ends up, considering how RV beat them and pretty much controlled them in that first game. Lenape has run wild on almost everyone else they've played. RV's the only team that has held them, one touchdown that game.
It surprised me that they've scored that many points. I didn't think they didn't have a very high-scoring, powered offense, and they're scoring 35 against, who did they play?
Howell. They beat Howell last week. Yeah, right. Who was ranked among one of the top teams in the state. They gave up 63 points. JoJo Kellum, Lenape's running back, rushing for 6 touchdowns. So, when you guys finish up here, I want you to wave at me to make sure we're on. And as soon as you give me the thumbs up, I'll see if I can get these guys to talk to us and get some insight on what's coming up and what happened tonight and what's coming up.
All right, Dean. We will catch up with you as soon as you get down on the field. And just 33 seconds left as they run it on 4th down. And now Burlington Township will have the football, but just 33.7 seconds remaining. Obviously, there's no doubt as to the outcome of this ball game.
I just saw number 83, Kamar Bradford, enter the field in the last series, and I didn't mention, but I mean, he was a senior. I haven't seen him. We haven't called his name once. But here's a kid who probably practiced and made everybody on the field better. Made everybody better every week, and he barely got to play, so he's one of those unsung kind of heroes, and he's going to get, he's barely going to get any playing time, but, for 4 years he's helped this team get better,
To give to Robertson, Lester Blount also in the ball game for Rancocas Valley. Pickup of 6 or 7. Actually, they give him an advance of 6 yards, so 2nd down and 4. And coming up on 10 seconds left, there's no hurry to get this play off, so they're probably just going to say that is going to be it. And it will. So 35-12, the final. Rancocas Valley improves to 10-1. Burlington Township falls to 6-4. We're going to be back in just a moment to talk with Coach Hausman and also attempt to talk to some of the players for Rancocas Valley. And we're going to do that right after this short break.
We have the administrative staff members here at Burlington Township.
right, back here at Burlington Township. We're going to go down to the field. Dean McCaskey has Coach Houseman.
All right, we got Coach Houseman. You came out, you did what you wanted to do. Capital Division champs. How does that sound after tonight's performance?
It sounds great. I'll let them enjoy it tonight, but we got to get right back to work and get ready for Lenape now. So, but it was good second half. We came out and we made some adjustments. We fixed things in the locker room. So both the offensive coaches and defensive coaches got things done, and I think we had a little bit better second half than we did first half.
Talk about Mark Sykes tonight, 3 touchdowns, just the type of performance, the type of player he's been for your program.
Oh, he's been fantastic, and he's been unselfish all year, so it's just so great to see him get some touches and get some rewards for just working his butt off all year, doing the little things that made us what we were this year. So he's worked hard every game, done everything we asked of him, and never asked to touch the ball, never asked for any glory, and tonight was good to see him get a little payback for all that.
How excited are you to take this team to the South Jersey Group 5 final for the second time in 4 years?
Oh, that's what you play for. So we're excited. We were a little dinged up, so we have to, take these next couple of days and be smart, and then, coming next week and be ready to go.
Do you think the experience from a couple of years ago will help you in this next round?
I sure hope so. I think it is. I think the guys know, and we have a lot of these kids coming back and saying things to these guys. So those guys started it, and hopefully these guys can, get it done and finish it.
Do you think the first matchup with Lenape will the second matchup be a lot like the first?
Oh, well, Lenape's been playing great football as of late. I mean, they're putting up a lot of points, so their offense is really rolling. Their defense is shutting people down, so it's going to be a big challenge, but, we're going to go in there and we're going to give it everything we have.
How excited are you for this program and where you are right now?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, this is the first time in my coaching history that we've reached 10 wins. I think this is 10 wins right now, so that's the first time we've ever done that. So that's a credit to all those guys coaching on the staff and right there. So it's a big deal for us.
What will be your talk to the team? What will be your motivation for this team for the next week?
It's just going to be coming out and doing what we're supposed to do. Each other, buying into each other and coming out there and giving it our best effort.
All right, good luck in the South Jersey Finals at Rowan, December 2nd. Coach Houseman going to take the Red Devils down there and hopefully get a win for Mount Holly and the rest of the school down there.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right, there you go, guys. We'll see if we can get a player here. Just give me a wave when I get somebody for you, okay?
All right, Dean, thank you very much. And Coach Houseman, hey, look, he's pretty much a matter of fact, nuts and bolts, meat and potatoes kind of guy, right? He just says, hey, look, we'll enjoy it. Then we got to get back to work. Got some guys nicked up, and I think he's the first to admit that Lenape is on a roll. I mean, they are playing great football.
Yeah, I've been surprised that because when they played, they really were flat. I mean, not like, not one of those teams that could put up 35 points a game, eat up clock and score slow. To hear Kellum had 6 touchdowns in one game, that's incredible. And these are guys that they held to 1 touchdown, and they're scoring like that on other teams that are, good football teams. So, it's going to be it'll be a good game that, it was only 10-7 the first matchup, and it's hard to win 2 games in a row to somebody just because they know you know them, and, sometimes it's just hard to win twice against somebody. You see it in the NFL all the time. They play these divisional games that they always have to play twice. Very hard to win both of them.
Of course, this one's going to be on a neutral field, playing at Rowan University, not at Lenape, where they played last time. And the other thing to keep in mind as well is they're playing on artificial surface, where they played on grass at Lenape. So, I'd say that overall, probably team speed and athletes, I'd have to give the edge to RV. But as far as their quarterback, very elusive, very slippery, not big, not fast, but he really runs that offense so well. He's very hard to defend. And, of course, you've got Kellum in the backfield, who has just had a tremendous run as well. I don't think he was healthy all season, but he's certainly healthy now, and he's a threat, no question about it. So sometimes teams, as you know, at the end of the season, it's the team that's playing the best, that's the hottest, going into the playoffs, no matter what level you're talking about, that really can succeed, and they are really very hot.
Yeah, the one thing that it's going to play in their advantage, and people may or may not think it's a factor, is that playing on the turf is a big deal for an athletic team like this. if you're a less of an athletic team or a bigger kind of a push you around type of team, you want to play on grass or something that can slow you down. It levels the playing field a little bit. You're playing right into their strengths on turf because the stuff plays tight. You're able to make breaks and cuts like we were just saying. Everyone's gait is a little different on mud.
All right now, Dean Mikowski with the quarterback Bryce Mangine.
We're down here with RV quarterback Bryce Mangine at this nice 35-12 victory over Burlington Township. Bryce, just how important was it for you guys to come in here and win that Capital Division crown outright and not have to share it with your friends from Lenape?
It was really important for us. Obviously, this was a game we wanted to win. This is our first goal on the list, be league champs. Now it's just going on to the group and winning Group 5. So.
How hard was it to get up for this game after that emotional game with Millville?
It was definitely hard. We definitely were running a little bit on low. Obviously, in the first quarter we showed that. But I'm glad my guys came back in the second half and really showed up. That's what we needed. That was a big goose.
How excited are you for that matchup, the rematch with Lenape?
Very excited. Obviously, they're a great team. Love playing them every time. They always come out and show compassion for the game. It's always great football.
What do you think that game's going to be like? Have you thought it? I know you try not to look ahead, but how have you thought about that Lenape game and how you think it's going to come out down at Rowan?
You're right. I really try not to think that far ahead. I like to think positively. I like to think our team's just going to practice hard all week, and we're going to come in strong, and I know they're going to come in strong. Be prepared for a good game.
Let's talk about tonight. Mark Sykes, the type of 3 touchdowns. You hit him across the middle there early in the game for a nice touchdown pass. Just talk about what the type of night he had and what he means to your team.
He had a really big night. He's one of our team captains. He's obviously one of the heart and soul guys of the team. He's obviously not the 6'4" guy. Everyone usually looks up to at other teams, but he's 5'5" and full heart. Kid plays balls to walls every time. I know I'm probably not supposed to say that, but he plays very hard. That's all I can ask for a guy. He's a great leader. Love him as a friend, as a brother. I mean, he's one of my idols on the team.
Is this RV team playing the best football right now?
I would like to say yes, but obviously there's stuff we can work on. We hope to come out next week and really show you what we have.
All right, that's Bryce Mangine, RV quarterback, going to take the Red Devils to Rowan for a chance to win that South Jersey Group 5 title. We'll see who else we have left. We'll get Mr. Sykes to come over and join us. So hold on one second. Mark, come here, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Here's the man himself.
Here we go, guys. We got Mighty Mouse right here, right?
Yes,
that's the nickname.
Man. Yes, sir.
Where's that nickname come from? Obviously, we know you're short, but you're a player.
It came since my freshman year, going into my sophomore year. My offensive coordinator, Coach Oz, he saw me. He knew I was a strong, powerful kid, and I was small, so he gave me that name, Mighty Mouse, and it just stuck throughout 4 years.
How much fun did you have out there tonight? 3 touchdowns.
Oh, I had a lot of fun. It was a great time sharing this moment with my team, winning the division title. It was great.
How much did that division title mean to you guys, and not having to share it with Lenape?
Oh, it meant everything to us. You know, being our rival with Lenape, we didn't want to share with them at all. And it's something we talked about since our freshman year for 4 years, and now it's here and we've got it. And it's just a great feeling.
I know coming into this game, a lot of people were saying, well, we should probably rest their guys, not get hurt. Was it hard for the players to not think like that this week?
Not really, because our mindset is always go hard, and we're going to use our weapons, and we never going to call the dogs off until it's time. We're just going to keep going hard the whole game.
Is this RV team ready to go to Rowan and win a South Jersey Group 5 championship?
Yes, sir. We're definitely ready. No doubt in my mind that we won't win this next Saturday.
What do you think that rematch with Lenape would be like?
Oh, it's definitely going to be a dogfight. We're going to get after it all game with them. We ain't going to hold nothing back. We're going to be firing on all cylinders all game long from 6 o'clock until that clock sees 0.
How do you think your team is together right now?
Together, my team is great. The chemistry is great. Mine is great. We have teamwork. We work together. Everything is great right now.
All right, well, it is cold down here, boys. The wind's blowing. I can tell Mark is having a hard time talking to me. I'm having a hard time talking. We got tears in our eyes, but great game tonight, Mark. Good luck in the South Jersey final. We'll be rooting for you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, there you go, guys. Wrapping it up here from Burlington Township. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks very much, Dean. And you got just about everybody. You got Mangine, you got the man, Sykes, Mark Sykes, who had a great game, 3 touchdowns, and, of course, Dan Hausman. So, Dave, your impressions of this game, and of course, looking forward to Lenape. We've already seen them once, 10-7. It was Rancocas Valley winning that game. I mean, they controlled Lenape after that first drive where Lenape marched down the field and scored the touchdown, and then, of course, it was 10-zip the rest of the way with Rancocas Valley really throttling that offense. But as we said, they are just playing lights out right now, so I think the challenge will be even greater against this Lenape team the way they're playing right now.
I think it's going to come down to a lot of their defensive linebackers, the way that Kyle Sapp, Edric Swoop, Kendrick, how they play in that center, and we keep on missing our number 44, Joel Anaya, who's leading the team, and we keep on missing his name. But these guys have to stuff that run up the middle and make sure they keep a close eye on Lenape's quarterback, who's, like you said, very elusive, and it's going to come down to a little defense. The weather's going to be colder, most likely. They're playing on turf, which plays into Rancocas Valley's favor, but they're going to have to play solid defense and then just let some of their players and some of their depth take over in the second half. I'll bet you it's a really close first half, but I think RV is going to pull ahead in the second half and probably win that game. That's my prediction.
Of course, special teams are going to play a big factor as well, as we saw that against Millville with the return, the punt return, and then, of course, the two-point conversion. And, of course, Clement can take it the distance on pretty much any time he touches the football. And probably Danny Condris is going to be back for that game. Watson's going to be back for that game. They did not play this evening, so it should be a terrific matchup against Lenape. Two tremendous teams, and the whole Group 5 was tremendous this postseason. And here we go. Two teams who have already played and probably the two best in Group 5 getting it together at Rowan a week from Saturday at Rowan University. So that's going to do it for us, not just for this game, but for this season. We hope you enjoyed it. I know we've enjoyed bringing it to you. 10-1 Rancocas Valley, only stubbing their toe against Camden in a game they led 17-0, but I think that taught them a lesson, and they've been pretty good since then.
Yeah, and I've had a great time working with you, Tony. Your creativity and everything is just, it inspires me to want to do this again, and I had a blast working with you.
So once again, the final score 35-12. Rancocas Valley knocks off Burlington Township here on Thanksgiving Eve, and we want to thank everybody. Mike Wolverton, who does the video and freezes himself toward the end of the season, these last few games, but he does a great job. Dean Mikowski, of course, who puts it all together. Dave Klemick, my broadcast partner, and of course everyone at Prime Events, we want to thank them as well. It's been a real fun season. So enjoy your Thanksgiving. Hope you enjoyed the games, and we'll talk to you next year. For Dave, for Dean, for Mike, for everybody, Tony Blum, so long for now.